Hello everyone, welcome to my 20k subscriber special. I realized I maybe should have waited till like a 25k special, but who cares, let's just do this. A big thanks to my wife. Usually I can only really do these sort of streams at night, but she agreed to take the kids out for a little adventure this morning. Right now it's 10:30 in the morning for me, but I know that a lot of you are on the other side of the world, so hopefully this is more convenient for you guys. Looks like it is for Modern Moonlight. Glad that I could accommodate for that. Yeah, welcome to the stream, guys, and thanks so much for all your support. I can't say that enough. This is such a fun side thing for me to do, and it's so much fun to make new videos for you guys. There's a new video tonight coming live. It's another cheat enabled video, so I think you guys will enjoy that. And I've got a few more things on the docket for working in the future, so great there. I'm just gonna wait like 2 more minutes, just let a few more people get started. I know that YouTube starts notifying you that the chat started, so maybe I'll just do that until we can get started here. So I'll just answer a few questions. What I'm thinking is I'm going to be going through my Easter eggs series. Hopefully I'll get through all of them. There's so many, I realize it's going to be at least an hour or two, but anyway, in between each video I'm just going to allow 5 minutes for like Q&A, so you guys can ask me about anything you want, my life, anything like that. So it'll be fun. Can I do a StarCraft Easter egg series? I'm gonna try. I've actually started compiling notes for a StarCraft trivia video. I think I'll call it StarCraft trivia, because Warcraft 3 Easter eggs started out as specifically about Easter eggs, but then it kind of branched on to like behind the scenes, cutting room floor, that kind of thing. And so I think right off the bat, I think I'm just gonna make a StarCraft trivia. I don't think it'll be as deep. I don't think it'll be as long of a series as the Warcraft 3 one is, because it's just there's not like hidden items on each level, that sort of thing. I think that made a big difference, is having those secret items and stuff. But I know that there are some pretty fun Easter eggs, so we'll give it a try. Good. I'm glad that some people can come here that haven't been before. Yeah, still later than I thought, but I'm glad. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll be right back. In the meantime, I don't have any like sponsors for like giveaways or anything, but there is one more custom emoji I can make. So here's a little contest thing. I'm going to go offline for just a second, and whoever can tell me first what song is playing as the goblin dances will get to choose what emoji I make for the channel. It's only useful for members or whatever, but I don't know. That's all I can really give. So anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Anyone who can guess that song will get to choose the emoji. Okay, alright, I'll answer a few more questions and then we'll get started with this series here. And then in between each video I'll keep answering more. Okay, so let's see here. Will I do a Warcraft 1 and 2 Easter egg series? I'd love to. I don't know how much there is to talk about, but again, maybe there's probably cutting room floor stuff. In fact, I know there is, like unused icons and stuff like that. So who knows, maybe I'll look at those. Those are always good to know. How have I liked doing YouTube so far? I've loved it. I never dreamed I'd be able to do this, and I mean, it's so fun to be able to make fun content that people actually enjoy. It's such a fun creative outlet. I've also just really enjoyed having a community to reach out to. Like, for example, on the StarCraft quotes video. I didn't know what the observer said in German, so I just asked on here, and I had some of the best resources and you guys who speak German. And there's another video that's coming out that I couldn't have done without uh-oh, it looks like this is a little warped. It's fine. Anyway, I wouldn't be able to do that without you guys, so I just love it. And can I do a video on custom campaign secrets? No, that'd be like reviewing a fan fiction book. I just don't think that it's that interesting. I mean, you know, I feel like that would be like me making a map and then being like, hey, look at these secrets I made. I don't know. For me, it's just kind of the Blizzard ones that interest me. But I don't know. Maybe I'll look into something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's get started on this video. So pull up a drink and some popcorn or whatever, and let's go ahead and watch this together. It's been probably about a year since I've watched this series, so I think it'll be pretty fun.
Hey there, I'm Abel Hawk, and today I'm going to present to you all the hard-to-find Easter eggs in my favorite PC
hope
game
that
of all
volume
time,
is okay
Warcraft.
for you guys.
Today I'm going to focus on the Reign of Chaos human campaign, the Scourge
Man,
of
I was so
Warcraft,
fat back
and to a
then.
lesser extent, the Orc campaign.
I've lost like 35 or 40 pounds since I did those videos.
Warcraft 3's
Give me some feedback on that audio. Just let me know if you can hear me. You know, I'm not necessarily too confused or too focused on hearing the actual video, but yeah, I just don't want to be like talking over. So let me know if it's good.
And breaking open barrels and crates. So if you want to keep your heroes stocked during the campaign, make sure to do a lot of hunting and vandalizing.
Yeah, there's a lot more Easter. If you count those as Easter eggs, there's a lot more in the game. So
say some pretty funny lines of dialogue.
you guys, if you want to find all the Easter eggs, just break all the crates and all the barrels.
Darkness called, but I was on the phone, so I missed him.
I'm so glad I did a video on that. That's one of my most popular videos, and it's so funny that there's all the darkness references.
Behind-the-scenes Easter eggs that take more effort to figure out. It's already tempting to destroy crates when you find them, or even just kill anything that's not invulnerable. But there are a lot of secrets in the game that you can easily miss if you just focus on trying to beat each level. And others that can give you an interesting look into Blizzard's developers' minds.
Have you guys ever subscribed to Peanut Butter Gamer? I think I owe my editing style and stuff to him. He does a really good job at looking at Nintendo games, so I decided to kind of do the same thing for Blizzard games.
They seem to just focus on helping the player get the hang of the game and not give them too many secrets to get distracted by. The only real secret can be found using Thrall's Far Sight ability. At the top of the map are these two scurvy pirates huddled around a treasure chest, which is actually an item called Fat Loot.
I'm kind of sad that this video has the most views out of all of my videos. I mean, it's got like almost 750,000 views, and it's not like great. I mean, my editing wasn't good. There's like big pauses between each video, so I'm afraid that a lot of people like find my series, find my channel, watch that one, and then they're like, ugh, this is bad. So
you wouldn't think the very first level of a campaign would have much in it besides simple areas designed to get you used to Warcraft 3's gameplay and objectives, but the first level of the human campaign has one of the most intriguing Easter eggs in the game. Here next to the gates to Strombrad is a graveyard. At first I thought it was just for looks, or a foreshadowing of the undead fate of the human lands in Arthas. Spoiler alert, but there's much more to it than that. If you wait until midnight, ghosts of the villagers who have died in this game will appear. Almost all of the villagers on this map are named, so if you see one die in any particular way...
It also has ghosts of like critters if you kill them, I believe.
When witching hour arrives.
Also, I don't think witching hour is midnight. I made a mistake there as well.
The second level, Black Rock and Roll, doesn't have anything too groundbreaking at first glance. Though I do think it is kind of charming how the fire pits light and go out depending on what time of the day it is. You might even think you've explored all you can once you round the entire map. However, there are some valuable rewards hidden if you have a peasant with you to do some tree cutting.
I know you can attack the tree, not just harvest it, but this was funnier, so... A lot of people have pointed that out. They're like, you know you can attack the tree, right? I'm like...
In the south forested area of the map is a Knoll Warden who, when killed, will drop a Wand of Negation.
That's such a cool Easter egg.
Down 20 or 30 trees, but it's an Easter egg. The Murlocs of the northwest corner are also hiding a secret.
This first video will probably always have a special place in my heart. Just like being able to find all these was so much fun. Like I just couldn't believe that there was so much stuff that I had never noticed before, so I wanted to share it. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like a 2-second delay until the next chapter starts.
You begin by watching Jaina chase off some ogres. It's easy to forget about them or think they ran off the map as just a plot device.
This is a good one.
But you can actually backtrack instead of going to
they throw you off so well there. I love that.
Only drops a measly potion of healing, but if you also kill the sheep wandering around their camp, you'll get a nice bracer of agility. Nice misdirection, Blizzard. In the village itself, you can see
that Easter egg. That is such a sneaky one.
Names. They range from Achilles to Donnell to Marie Antoinette to Child? I guess they only named half of them. Anyway, the most interesting villager is this guy.
Gargamel.
I'm guessing based on the Smurf villain for some reason.
My lord, if this is about taxes, I can explain.
It's easy to just give a slight smile at this amusing dialogue and move on. However, there's also an Easter egg built into Gargamel. You can actually force him to hand over his taxes. If you click him 50 times, he'll give you a random amount of gold. If you press him for taxes more by clicking him another 50 times, he'll hand over a potion of healing. That must be all he has because he doesn't give you anything else.
Another good channel you guys should check out if you haven't already is Designer Dave.
Sorry, Gargamel.
That was a good effect. I like that. Anyway, Designer Dave, you guys probably know him. I've talked about him on here. He's a developer of Warcraft 3. He made a lot of some of the best Warcraft 3 maps, like the culling and stuff. Anyway, his channel's great. He goes through and talks about like the developers and how they came up with the names for those or something.
Easter eggs to find on the map itself, unless you count this strange, staggering ghoul named Timmy.
Timmy. There are lots of Timmys in Warcraft 3.
This is the same Timmy who got kidnapped by Knowles back in Strombrad, but whoever he is, you'll see him in a future
it's
level,
not.
so
There's several different Timmys in the game. That one probably ends up being Timmy the Cruel on WoW. That's my guess anyway.
There are mainly some curious lines of dialogue from Arthas.
Oh, Jaina and the Banshee. That was Designer Dave. He told me that that was just kind of one of the early story ideas, and they thought it was too close to StarCraft with Kerrigan turning into the, Queen of Blades or something. So they decided to do that for Sylvanas instead, which I thought was a good move.
Starting to haunt a gold mine on the outskirts of Anderhall. As a camp is being set
This is interesting too. I wish that I would have. I wish they would have kept like some of the voice lines for that or something. Some people think that that was maybe for like showing you how the revive hero thing works, but that wouldn't make sense story-wise. So they're probably good to keep it out.
The other lines of dialogue say things like,
What the hell are you saying? Who are you anyway? Jaina, you're alive. I'll tell you all about it later. This looks like some kind of gateway. I bet Jaina would not.
Yeah, I wonder what those were all about. Those are such interesting voice lines.
There don't seem to be any lines of dialogue that respond to Arthas asking, "Who are you?" And Jaina has no lines of dialogue questioning his details that he will explain later. Perhaps Medivh or someone else came and resurrected Jaina. There's also no sign of any gateway on the entire map, so that must have been taken out as well. At any rate, these lines are never used in any of the map's triggers, and Arthas doesn't say anything if Jaina dies.
No, Jaina!
Kel'Thuzad even has an unused line of dialogue hidden away in the game's files called Kel'Thuzad Death.
That's really weird too. There's a bunch of little sound files like that I have no idea what they're for.
Nothing too much on this level, as it's mostly a survival map not meant to be thoroughly explored.
I mean, I'm glad I've gotten better since then, but it's just kind of cringy for me all these years later. I've learned so much about like pacing and stuff like that.
Give you some handy boots of speed.
Look how many items I have by that point. It's a shame you can only carry 6 because there's so many Easter eggs, especially in those first few levels. The culling.
The city of Stratholme is huge and really cool, but there aren't too many secrets to be found in it, even if you look hard. There are a couple of interesting places, however. On the west side of the city is a city zoo with some monsters in it you can slaughter. None of them have any items to give you.
I'm gonna miss this layout for like Reforged, but I hope they keep things like Filson the Rat and stuff.
Or is he? No critter in a Blizzard game, including Filson, can withstand the power of clicking too many times. After he explodes, you can
So many
see the source of his
memes
dodging
in the
skills. A handy talisman
Easter
of
egg
evasion.
series.
The other point of interest in the city is this obelisk.
My volume was off too. I keep going quiet and loud. I still have problems with that in my videos today, but hopefully I've got it a little bit under control.
Because if he approaches it, he says this.
Father, forgive me for what I must do.
That's really
Figure out what
interesting.
the significance of this place is. Why couldn't Blizzard have just made a statue of King Tyrannus doodad for this specific purpose? They do the same kind of thing in future levels, and the mundanity of this obelisk makes it so few players will probably ever hear Arthas say this. Besides these secrets, the map editor shows a bunch of unused regions referring to waygates, all based around the city's fountains, particularly this one near the Fountain of Health. None of the regions have any triggers wired to them, though, meaning they have no purpose in the actual scenario. I think this is kind of a shame. The city's immense size would have been more fun to navigate if there was a waygate system.
I never really
It may have
figured
given
out.
an added element of trying to ambush
I don't think
Mal'Ganis
Dave
or
ever
reach
told me
certain parts of
exactly
the
how to
city
do
before
that.
he does.
It's funny because he programmed it so that you would feel bad like killing the villagers while they're still humans and not zombies, but that's like the strategic way to do it, like because they have fewer hit points and stuff. I must be evil because I never even thought twice about it. I was just like, kill him, kill him, kill him.
Serious
So that's
vibe
kind of
to
funny.
it. The levels get a bit more linear, and the Easter
Oh
eggs pretty
man,
much
the
die
Death
out.
Revenant looks so
The
cool on
interesting things
Reforged. I
can
can't
find
wait to
these
play
two
this
sound
level.
files attributed to Muradin that don't seem to ever be used.
Look, is that the best you can do? I've met gnomes that are tougher than you.
And that is why
It's
I
not
wish
really
gnomes
big
on
bosses
World of
among
Warcraft
Muradin's
could not be
presence in
warriors.
these levels. I have
Just
no
doesn't
idea
make sense
who
to me.
or what he was taunting, and can only imagine what the developers originally had planned. Besides that,
Yeah, I missed quite a few in Northrend. Even in my addendum video, I think I didn't go through all of them, so sorry.
Well, that is all I could find in the human
This
campaign
used to be a
for
lot
Chaos
different.
Realms.
Back in the
Thanks a
day,
ton for watching. If there's
YouTube
Easter
didn't
eggs
have
out
these,
that I
like,
missed, I'd love
links.
to hear about it in the comments.
They just had like
Like and a
these.
share,
They were
like,
really
and
tacky
I will
back then,
see
but
you
they were
in the
just
next
tacky
Easter
like
eggs
links that
video.
you could click on, like almost hidden frames or something. And so I had to adapt that later. It was kind of a transitionary period.
Tablehawk here. This video.
All right, so that's the first one. Let's just spend a little bit of time and do some Q&A. What do you guys got for me? What do you guys want to know? What's my favorite WoW race? Probably trolls. I just love trolls. They're just so funny to me and just so like, I don't know, I just fascinating really. I just can't think of any other fantasy race in any other franchise where they're so unique. You know, I mean, elves are the same in every fantasy setting. There's a ton of them, like a ton of different kinds of them. They live in the woods, or they know magic, they're graceful, that sort of thing. But trolls, I mean, nothing has like a tusked jungle race that's like tribal and talks with a Jamaican accent, and you know, I just love trolls. So I think that they're probably my favorite. You like humans? I think humans, I don't know why. I know it's boring, but I really like humans too. Like whether it's D&D or Warcraft or whatever, I've just always loved humans. I don't know why. I like Warcraft humans especially because they like just their noble nature. Like I just love like Stormwind and stuff like that. As far as alliance races go, though, my favorite horde race is Troll, but I think my favorite alliance race would probably be Wildhammer Dwarves. I think they're really cool. Just how they have like, you know, the blue tattoos and they live out and ride griffins and stuff. Like I think that's so cool. What's my favorite Warcraft 3 race? Orc probably. I think undead are the most fun to play, but orcs are, I've always just had a special love for the horde, like the orc race. You know, in Warcraft 2 and in Warcraft 3, and so I think orcs are probably my favorite race overall. What do I think of BFA in WoW? What's BFA? Sorry, I don't play WoW, so I'm bad with abbreviations. So if you want to tell me what BFA means. Sylvanas throwing a tantrum and burning the tree. I think that, okay, this is why this is stupid. It's a gigantic tree the size of a mountain, like bigger than a mountain. It's like a continent pillar, like a vertical continent basically. So if she threw a tantrum and burned it down, whatever. But how? You know, like, how did she light a gigantic mountain on fire, basically? Like, it was so... I just think that's kind of stupid. Like, as far as, like, her reasons behind it, though, if you looked into the Shadowlands, it's actually, like, the new WoW expansion, it actually explains quite a few things kind of well. How she made a deal with somebody in the Shadowlands, like the Realm of the Dead, and she's just trying to funnel all these innocent souls to it or something. And so that would make sense why she'd just kill a bunch of innocents for no reason. You know, she just wants to give that soul power to her creditor, the jailer, I think is who he's called. And so motivations, I guess they can kind of explain that away. I guess that's okay. But yeah, again, how she set a continent on fire with catapults, that's what bothers me. What else? What do I think about the Shadowlands cinematic? The cinematic itself, I think, is kind of stupid, but the expansion itself, looking at it, it looks pretty cool. They've got, like, the race of spirit healers, like, you know, with the blue skin and white eyes and stuff. That sounds pretty cool. I really want Sylvanas to die, so that's why I'm excited for that expansion, too. But anyway, that's kind of what I think about it. Go center it a little bit more. Battle for Azeroth. Okay, duh. I knew I'd seen that somewhere. What do I think about Battle for Azeroth? I haven't actually played WoW for a really long time. I'm thinking about starting up again. Hopefully getting my wife into it to play with me, just because I want to see how it works. I used to hate it. I used to think it was so dumb how easy everything was, but I played on the starter edition up till level 20, and I like the way they've done stuff, so we'll see. One more question, then we will go on to the next one. The extra 12 colors in Warcraft 3, did you notice that some of them are more like their Warcraft 2 counterpart? That's a good point, and I didn't think about that too much, but I think you're right. Like, yeah, they're kind of just brighter, like white, you know? I like seeing the white races and stuff on Warcraft 3, because it brings me back to my favorite color on Warcraft 2, which was like the Nation of Lordaeron and stuff. I've actually gotten back into Warcraft 2 lately, and my gosh, you guys, it's so fun. They have it on GOG.com for a pretty reasonable price, 1 and 2, and they work perfectly on Windows 10. So if you guys want to play Warcraft 2, you can play it again. They have it available now. All right. I'm going to move this up. Go. And alright, let's get back into this here and watch episode 2, Path of the Damned.
Look at all the hard to find Easter eggs in Warcraft 3.
I'm so awkward in these in the original videos, like just sitting on a chair in the middle of my living room. I guess I'm kind of awkward right now. That's what I'm doing right now, but I don't know. It's just my posture is kind of weird. Such a creepy victory song for undead, but creepy. Fits, though.
As you round up the undercover acolytes, you may notice the two villagers who are in a fight in town.
I've never seen the movie Fight Club,
and the other
but
Robert. You can't see this
definitely
in the
a
game,
reference
but in
to
the
it.
map file, they each have tooltips. Tyler says Tyler Durd inevitably resorts to using his agility and patience to wear down opponents with a constant barrage of light blows. And Robert says Robert, Paul's son, is slow and lumbering, but he makes up for this with great vitality and a mean left hook. These villagers are an obvious reference to Tyler Durden and Robert Paulson from the movie Fight Club. These same two villagers, later killed and raised as undead, can be found in World of Warcraft in the Undercity's War Quarter.
That's pretty rare to have an Easter egg carry over to World of Warcraft.
Easter egg is super sneaky.
Timmy did too, but that's understandable.
Spot on your map, this field behind the trees where Arthas starts out. You have some ghouls that can cut down the trees, but there's an obvious rock barrier discouraging you from thinking too hard about getting behind them. However, there is one weak spot here between these two houses.
I love watching these old videos because I'd found the biggest Easter eggs. Like, I missed a bunch in the first beginning, but these ones are so cool. I love these.
While you're over there, have the ghouls cut down the few trees here. There's a scroll of healing inside the crate by the rowboats.
Pretty cool, too. Love that.
Digging up the dead has several amusing little secrets. The first is pretty easy to find. If you cross the stream and make
I think none of you asked this or anything, but I think my least favorite
if you approach him, he'll morbidly devour
part of making videos is getting this footage, like
the next is found up this hill.
like just the filler footage, you know, like see I'm just talking about whatever and I just had to film him walking across the screen for 10 seconds and then just squeeze it in. Like that's, I love, you know, making the funny effects and stuff, but oh, it's so burdensome to get the footage to make it look nice in the background. I wonder what this is, if they're gonna keep this in Reforged. This was a designer Dave level. You can see his influence in it pretty well, and he loved putting Easter eggs in it, and he put some good ones in there.
Find a peaceful little waterfall the game calls a Pandaren relaxation area.
So this is an interesting case because David Freed forgot to turn off that trigger every time you go in. So every time you go in, it says Pandaren relaxation area, Pandaren relaxation area. And he wanted to fix it, but by that point it was too late, and the game had to go off to shipping or whatever. So, and like the coders didn't want to break anything, even though it was like a little thing, but still.
Blizzard's art director, who is obsessed with pandas. What started out as some little jokes is now canonical lore within the Warcraft universe. What you're seeing in some of these Easter eggs is the race's very
I don't like Pandarens. I'm sorry, guys.
I personally wish they just stayed this way. I've never been a fan of mixing European and fantasy genres, and don't even get me started on Illidan's warglaves. I mean, come on. The final Easter egg on the map is in this farmhouse down in the southwestern area of the map.
I like them a little. You know what? I actually liked Pandaren more.
If you kill it close enough to the fence, Arthas can just
like I liked the Pandaren Brewmaster back then.
Wagons to do even more tree clearing.
But
I like this area because
I don't like them in WoW. They look weird.
Where his camp is, but it requires a little bit of effort to come down here and find this somewhat useful item. Also, I'm not sure where this dialogue belongs, but it might have been here during the showdown between Uther and Arthas. Uther has some unused dialogue similar to Muradin's tales I showed you on the human campaign video.
To get my slippers on, my feet are cold.
And speaking of paladins, for whatever reason, the paladins in this map have different names assigned to them in the scenario's trigger editor than they do in the actual map. Gavinrad the Dyer is called Lord Nicholas Buzan. Sage Truthbearer is named Gregory Edmondson.
This is going to be... I love all the new paladin models on Reforged. Like, it's going to be so cool to see all of them, like, just look completely different from each other. It's so fun.
Into these maps that the paladins are never known by their models' names in the actual campaign. Why is this? We may never know.
Now we kind of know thanks to David, but...
There are a couple of secrets in Quel'Thalas, but they're pretty lame ones. Because of all the glowing runes around showing you where you have to knock down trees, you pretty much get used to paving paths through the forest with your meat wagons.
Yeah, so these ones are a little too easy for me.
In the first level, there's this area with the gnolls where you'll get a ring of protection +2.
I just don't like in games when it feels like the developers are holding your hand, you know? Like they're just like, go along here, oh, let's chop down these trees. I don't know. I feel a lot more satisfied when you figure it out yourself, you know, that sort of thing.
Themselves, I did find a small point of interest. Judging by the sound files prepped in the Key of the Three Moons level, it's clear that the developers were at least at one time toying with the idea of turning...
I'm anxious to see what Quel'Thalas looks like. I wonder if it'll have its own tile set, because it looks a lot different on WoW, and they're probably going to make it look like that, so... You know, all those, like, autumn trees and stuff.
So they made this transformation occur in the fall of Silvermoon instead.
I didn't think it was something else. I don't know. There's a new model for that Banshee on Reforged now, which is pretty cool.
I love this level. No level in all of the Warcraft 3 campaigns.
I put Warcraft 2 music because it just feels like Warcraft 2. There's dragons, there's ogre magi. I love how they did that with this level. It's subtle, and if you haven't played Warcraft 2, you probably wouldn't notice this, but they did a great job. Like it just feels like a Warcraft 2 map on that one.
Dalaran, the city of magic and mystery, and surprisingly, not many secrets.
We have many secrets.
No, you don't, Karen Tormage. The only secret I could find
That's
is this
true,
hermit
sadly.
archmage
I hope they
taking
flesh
some
these levels
sheep
out on
outside your
Reforged,
base
because it
to
looks like they had like
He
a
drops
deadline or
health stone,
something
and
and
there's
ran
no
out of time and
potion in his tent.
just
Besides
didn't
that,
put
the only
enough
intriguing
in,
thing
so...
I found out is that on the map editor, the energy fields encompassing the city are not regional weather effects as I previously
There are
thought,
new
but nearly
Archmage
600
models, I
data.
believe,
As a map maker myself,
for this
I'm
level
really
only.
surprised and
There's like an
confused
elf
as to why the developers took
Archmage
that route.
and Tinnitus, of course, and then I think there's one more, I think. Maybe it's like a female
The
Archmage?
last
I don't
level,
know.
Under the Burning Sky,
Because I think there's
defense
3
map,
that you have
but
to
it
kill.
does have
So.
a couple of points of interest if you're willing to venture out into enemy territory. The Grey Team is guarding a magic vault that contains an awesome Scepter of Mastery and a Medallion of Courage. Both are really worthwhile if you're willing to fight your way through.
Oh, I wanted to check the icon for
And
that Scepter of
uncreative as it
Mastery
is, there happens to
on
be another Hermit Shepherd Archmage on this map. This time on an
on
island
Reforged, because
lake.
they
If
took
you
out a
wait
lot
out
of
there, you
jokes
can
in the
score a Ring of
icons
Protection
when they
+5
remastered the
and
icons,
a
and that one
+2.
was clearly like
Also, he's really
SD,
mad
like
at you
Samwise
guys.
Didier. So they probably made it look more like a
Also,
Scepter,
can
but I
just say
didn't.
how
I don't
boring
think
this
I've seen it
level's
yet. I'll have to
layout
check.
is? Compared to some of the maps we've seen thus far, it really looks like they just gave up halfway through tiling this one.
Yeah.
I know most players will
They
stay
must have
close
been
to
really
Gil'Thuzad
pressed
and
for
defend
time,
more
because
than
I mean that
explore
just
anyway, but
it looks
areas
so
like this up
incomplete.
here
It's
are
weird.
really disappointing. Makes me wonder if they had some kind of deadline to keep or something. That is it for
Oh,
the
it's over
Path of the
already.
Damned campaign. Thanks for watching. Again, if I
How
missed
long
any
is this?
Easter eggs, be sure to let me know. I know I missed a
Oh.
couple in the human campaign video.
There it
despite
is,
my
okay.
best efforts, so I'll just
Yeah,
leave
like I
this
said,
one
back then they didn't
and
have these end
I'll
screens, and so it was
showcase all the ones
I had to go
missed
back and
in
fix
main
these.
videos.
Worked pretty well. You used
If
to
you
be
like
able to
this
click
video,
on the
be sure to
portal and
like
get to the
it.
next
It
one.
means a
So,
lot. I'll see you next time.
all right. Anybody got any questions for me? You really hope that every hero character has many different models. So do I. And the fun thing is, I've said this before, but now that Warcraft 3 Reforged is going to be supported by active updates, they can add new models, you know? Who knows? They might just add them for the fun of it. I'm not sure. What music instruments were used for Undead? It sounds like some kind of wind chimes or like some kind of wooden xylophone percussion instrument. I'm not really sure. Because they made it sound like bones, you know, so I'm not really sure. Do I play Hearthstone? I used to. I hate it now. I've played it since the beta. Like, I loved Hearthstone in the beginning. I loved playing it. I played all the way through. Man, let's see. I played all the way through. Man, it's funny how fast I've forgotten. I can't even remember when I stopped. I know it was like a year ago or something, but basically I loved the first original classic Hearthstone. I loved Goblins vs. Gnomes, and I loved, like, I kind of liked the Grand Tournament, but after that I just felt like each expansion made it worse and worse, and now, like, it has a lore of its own, you know, with, like, Reno Jackson and Elise Starseeker and stuff. The reason I liked Hearthstone was for the lore of Warcraft that was already in it, and it was fun to see how those cards worked, you know, like Grom, like, charged in and got enraged, because that's how he is in Warcraft 3, you know, he's got a temper and stuff, and so, anyway, I don't like it anymore. I feel like it's just not the same game. It's just they've got way too many weird effects. Yeah, I lost all desire to play it, and I'll probably never play it again, sadly. Okay, what do I want for Christmas? I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I've got, like, all the games I ever really wanted. I always like D&D stuff. I'm really into D&D. My favorite miscellaneous hero from the tavern. That's a cool question. I don't know. It's hard to say. I kind of want to like the Fire Lord more. I feel like he's kind of not as powerful as he looks, though. The Pit Lord's pretty fun. Man, it's been a while since I've seen all of them. I like the Tinker, too. I don't know. They're all pretty good. I'd probably have to say the Pit Lord, though. I think he's probably my favorite one. Alright, one more, and then we'll watch the next video, and you guys can ask more after that one. Let's see. Have I played the original Dota? No. Did I play Warcraft 1? Yes, I did. It was as fun as it could be, given the bad controls. And then just, do I know when the open beta and Reforged will start? I don't know, but they're trying to make it... I think they're trying to push for this year still, even though it seems like it's still kind of raw. I think they're still trying to do it before the end of the year, so I guess we'll find out. Alright, let's go ahead and watch another one.
Hey friends, Ablehawk here.
In case you're wondering, I did film all of those one after another, like at the very beginning, and then I just put them into each video. That's why I'm wearing the same ones.
Orcs are my favorite race in Warcraft 3, and Trolls my favorite Warcraft race of all time, so I was sad to find that several of the levels in this campaign are devoid of any Easter eggs. There doesn't even seem to be a reason for it. Take this random empty grove in Spirit's Ashenvale, for example. Why doesn't it have anything in it? The whole objective on this level is to
I feel like my voice was pretty like critical back then. Like I complained quite a bit, and I do wish that there were Easter eggs and stuff, but once I talked to designer Dave and just kind of felt like Blizzard was more humanized and stuff, I got like a much bigger appreciation for it and stuff.
Unfortunately, the first Orc level doesn't have any truly hard-to-find secrets. If you just make sure to look in every nook and cranny of the level, though, you can find a lot of creeps that drop items. In fact, I counted 11 items you can find on this map. The only area you might miss if you're careful is the area south of where you meet Cairn. Because of the urgency of the cutscene,
My village is in danger.
I always just followed Cairn without exploring further. But there are a couple
I miss doing those little jokes. Haven't really been able to with the more systematic, like,
where you'll get a potion of mana and a
you know, just sort of list ones that I've done lately with like the icons and stuff. There hasn't been any that many jokes to put in, but that was fun.
Besides a lousy potion and a crate. However, there is a pretty funny trigger that I found out about the hard way when I was playing this campaign once. If you kill one of Grom's units or destroy one of his buildings, he'll ignore it. But if you keep destroying his troops or buildings, raise his stronghold, or kill Grom himself, the entire Warsong clan will
I thought that was such a funny touch for this match.
I thought this was a pretty funny Easter egg, and I'm glad Blizzard added it. There were too many times in the human campaign when Arthas could just massacre villagers and no one would lift a finger. But this time, the consequences for being
it's just so funny that
completely realistic, especially
Hellscream just got super mad.
Although this map has an element of urgency to it, there's still
I guess I can answer some questions during it.
Mushroom fairy rings.
I guess I meant mostly Dark Spirit Trolls. I don't really like the Forest Trolls and stuff. They're weird. So yeah, I guess I'd... Yeah, to clarify, Dark Spirit Trolls are probably my favorite.
He's an agility-based blade master. The other one is a bit harder to get to. You have to push your way through the Shadowleaf Night Elves village in order to reach it.
You guys have seen all of these, right? I hope you have, because this is like... This is my real pride in like... why I... Oh man, it's so quiet. Weird. Anyway, like, this is why I started this channel, or really why I got, like, popular, I guess, because nobody else had looked at these secrets. They're so... I'm so glad that, like, I found them and could spread the word about them.
Dungeon level in Reign of Chaos.
I can't wait to see this one in Reforged. I think this will look so cool.
Right? Well, yeah, there actually are quite a few in this one. Thrall can find one pretty early on in his part of the Stone Talon Caverns. After killing these fallen priests... Oh, okay, you're right. I like Zul'jin. I take it back. I like Zul'jin. He was one of my favorites, especially on Warcraft 2, so... Yeah, all trolls. I take it back. I love all trolls. I forgot that he was like an Amani troll, and he's really cool. The first a kobold you can kill, and the second has some troll warriors who you can rescue to join you, but the third one seems empty except for a bunch of fire. Knock down the door, however, and a salamander will rise from...
Yeah, it's on GOG.com. And it's a pretty good price. I got it the other day and I love it. It's so much fun to play and it runs perfectly on Windows 10.
It takes a while, but if you wait and watch, the lizard will eat and eat and eat.
This was such an interesting Easter egg.
Eventually, the lizard eats too much and explodes. By that time, it's eaten.
I wonder if they'll add like an animation for that, like it's swelling up or something. Like they could do so much on Reforged. I hope that they do.
Opposite Stormwind, I'll never know. But the devotion ore is handy. The next Easter egg is another great moment of misdirection.
This is a weird one.
It's easiest, of course, to splatter all of the quillboars in the spike pit using the trap mechanism. However, if you trap them yourself, one of the Razor-made chieftains will drop a necklace of spell immunity, which is super valuable for Thrall in the last level against the demons. Also, break any crates you find. A whopping 18 of them contain something. 2 of them are full of rats, but the others have all kinds of scrolls and potions in them. Speaking of triggers, there's a function, probably to prevent traps.
I feel like units on these, well, maybe they do actually, I didn't even check, but I feel like if this isn't already the case, the units should have their inventory ability researched on dungeon maps, you know? Because like you can't carry it over to the next level, but they could carry a potion for you just if you didn't have room for it in your inventory. I really thought about that. The war golems look really good on Reforged. I'm really satisfied with how those look.
Originally, along with the spike traps in this cave, there was a lightning trap here in the room with the fallen priests and this flaming fountain. In their place was apparently some power generators, like these by the Skeleton Lord, and an
oh, thanks, Modern Moonlight. That's nice. I'm glad you like it.
Name, pendant trap. If Thrall picked it up, he got struck by lightning and took 100 damage. The death remnant over here was tied to this trigger as well. If it was killed, the power generators were destroyed and the trap was disabled. The second unused function powered a couple of teleporters in this junction where Cairn and Thrall meet at the end. There are 2 pairs of regions that transport anyone who entered. Actually, you know what? Why don't I just enable the triggers and we'll see for ourselves what happens.
Yep, this was a trigger and all I did was turn it on and then see what happened.
Weird.
It's kind of interesting.
I guess before, that was the way to get from this room into this one. Apparently the devs decided a simple destructible gate was sufficient enough to bridge the gap. The last trigger.
It's weird to watch these because I heard my voice so many times as I'd edit these videos, but you know, it's been a while so I forget stuff. But you know, like it plays in my head and it's super familiar.
Would be pretty dangerous. I actually really like this. Look how cool it looks for effect. I don't know why they took it out. At any rate, I'm glad the map makers of this level kept these triggers on here rather than just deleting them without a trace. It's really fun to take a glimpse into their minds as they designed this dungeon. Lastly, has anyone wondered why Ajun talks through Thrall?
I am Ajun, ancient princess.
I still kind of wonder that. Some people are like, oh, he's a shaman, so he can just kind of talk through her like a medium or whatever. And I'm like, that's fine, I guess. But they've never done anything like that on any of the other levels. So
all the choices, Thrall is definitely the most confusing.
I know, kind of weird. I should probably make a video sometime about all of the level names on Warcraft 3 and how they're all named after like rock songs, like by Demons Be Driven, and even Black Rock and Roll kind of references it a little bit, so it's kind of funny. That's Samwise for you.
For instance, a comment on it says, waiting on triggers that will allow me to place an item in a specific slot on a hero. Were the developers still writing triggers while this campaign was being designed?
Yes, Leet Noob. This is when I started to kind of get with the program, you know. Like I figured out how to make things a lot faster with the pace and stuff. Like this is what I hope. This is like these videos I wish were the ones that people were drawn to first, and then they could watch the rest. But yeah, that first video keeps getting more views than any of them. Yeah, this one's like half, less than half of the first video's views, so it's kind of a shame. But
could include a Shadow Wolf, a Stone Token, a Murloc Nightcrawler, a Talisman of Evasion, a Flying Sheep, a Health Stone, a Captain, Khadgar's Pipe of Insight,
it's so cool that I can't remember if I've said it yet, but I was saying something about how cool it was, and I was like, I wonder who did this all that time ago, and it turned out to be designer Dave, and he was kind enough to comment on my videos and let me interview him, and that was a dream come true. It was so cool to hear like behind the scenes from an actual developer.
Where they tried implementing this magic vault, and at what point had they given up? More importantly, though, these comments actually make me wonder if any of the previous campaigns had any hidden comments in the triggers too. I think I'll go through them all once more before I publish my addendum video of all
hence the addendum videos. That was another thing, is I wasn't careful my first time through. Like I I didn't look at every single
That
trigger
sends another
carefully
Warcraft
and stuff
Easter
like
egg
that,
video.
and
I
so
hope you're enjoying watching these videos
anyway.
as much as I'm enjoying making them. Either way, thanks so much for supporting this project.
All right.
Hi.
All right, what questions you got for me now? Any news on the campaign that was on the Warcraft 3 demo will be playable in Reforged? I'm almost positive it will be, because there's a hero in the Reforged map editor called Murloc Sorcerer, and that is only found on that demo. And so I'm almost positive that they made that Murloc Sorcerer hero for that, for that map. So I think you can look forward to the whole thing being on there, and hopefully fully voiced, because it's weird that they didn't have like the voices on there. It's weird. I love D&D, so I'd like to ask, has it ever bothered you that in strategy games you have no real means to affect the plot, or you dislike the way certain characters acted, as in Warcraft 3? I get that. But, there's not really, I don't know, at least, especially in older games, there's not really a way for them to make it open world, or like have branching things that happen because of your consequences or whatever. There's a few levels where they kind of let you make a choice, and then that branched it off. Like in StarCraft, I think Brood War, there's a level where you like either destroy the battle cruisers or the nuke silos, and then depending on which one you destroy, the next level you have to face the other one or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I love about D&D, is how you can do anything. But I don't know how you could do that on a strategy game. Like, obviously that's, I don't know, they have to have some kind of story. I don't know, I guess maybe they could have like kind of a big web of stories that sort of have a bunch of different endings. That would be kind of cool. But, then how would you make a sequel? So I get it, but, I see what you're saying too. What do I think about Warcraft 3 Reforged? I'm hopeful that it'll turn out as good as it says it will. I love the graphics. They're incredible. If nothing else, I bet the campaign will be fun, and that's usually all I care about. I'm not a multiplayer player. Like, I suck at like melee maps and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see. My fingers are crossed pretty hard about Warcraft 3 Reforged, because it'd be so fun for it to get the attention I think it deserves. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. But, I think that they'll do a good job with the campaign. Do they think the devs will add new Easter eggs in Reforged? Definitely. They'll probably preserve some of the existing ones, but a lot of them seem kind of accidental or really tiny, so they might look over them. But I'm definitely going to hunt for all of them, and you guys will definitely be the ones to know about it. We'll do like 2 or 3 questions left. Do you think they'd actually bring back Dwarven Axemen? I hope so. And if not, one of the bandit models has like a big beard, and he could work this time. And so I think that would be awesome. But I guess we'll find out. I've gotten a lot better at streaming. Thank you. I agree. Sometimes I still have technical difficulties, but I've learned a ton. So glad to see that. Thanks, Drunk Can. Have a good time. You can watch this later. I might make like a highlights video of this if it's any good in terms of just like me giving commentary on the actual videos. But now that I'm actually doing it, it doesn't seem that interesting like so far. So we'll see. And then last one. Let's see here. If they will improve the world editor, yes, they will. They already have so far. They've been making a lot of updates to it, so that's good. I don't know in what ways they will. I hope they just keep it mostly the same in terms of the interface and whatnot, because the StarCraft 2 map editor, way too complicated for me. But they've made some really cool improvements on the editor so far. And then when do I think the release date will be? Hopefully soon, because I don't know. They promised that it would be before the end of this year, but it's December, so who knows? I guess we'll find out. What's my opinion? There will be no new voices in Reforged. I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. I would have liked the option. I love the old voices in Warcraft 3, but I also love the old graphics in Warcraft 3. You know, they were its own thing. So I think it would have been cool to have the new graphics have new sounds with them. But it looks like they're not doing that. So I don't know. Maybe I should have... I don't know. I guess I can't really affect their decisions much, but maybe I should have gone on the forums and been more vocal about how I was like, just give the option, you know? Like, there's no harm if they can turn it on and off. Like, if you... A lot of people were just like, no, they've got to be the old voices, and it's like, that's fine. Like, just give them the option. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's go and watch Eternity's End. This one was pretty fun to make. I think my favorite one is the next one, which is Terror of the Tides. I think that was my favorite campaign to do, because it's just so rich with secrets and stuff. Yes, I will stream me playing the Reforged campaign. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I will a little bit, sure. But I think I'm going to focus on actual scripted videos for looking at the Easter eggs and stuff.
Levels thus far. Waterfalls. They're beautiful set pieces, and the map designers know it. In almost every map with one, there's a region you can step in to have the waterfall illuminated with a visibility region so you can see it. This isn't an Easter egg so much as it's a subtle way.
Oh, there are a few new voices. There are new voices for the female satyr, the female centaur, and the female demon hunter and death knight. So they have those new voices, and it's fun because they say the exact same things that their male counterpart says. I love that. I think that would be fun if they just sort of... Another panda secret snuck in there.
See what I mean? The Pandaren and Warcraft 3 were just Easter eggs. All of them. The point of interest in this map lies right after you find the shadow-melded ballistae up in the north region of the map. Have the ballistae
I miss ballistas. Glaive throwers are... They're cool or whatever, but I just love ballistas. They're so cool. In Warcraft 2, I loved the Alliance ballistas with like the two shields on front. Those are so cool looking. I miss them.
At any rate, he's a super powerful ranged fighter against the undead.
I think it'd be cool if they bring that specific ballista back for like the Blood Elf race on Reforged for that campaign or something. That'd be a cool model to have.
I know that this is the Night Elf campaign, and they're all about conserving the environment, but as we've seen in lots of levels so far, if you want to find secrets, you gotta knock down a lot of trees.
It's so true.
If you path through the southwest forest in your base, you'll find a haunted shrine of some kind. When you approach it, 2 ghosts and a wraith appear to fight you. You always have to be careful.
Have I played WoW? I did play up till like Burning Crusade, and then I haven't really played since then, like much.
Also,
but I'm thinking of getting back into it, maybe next month. They have a new model for Tharfos, which is mind-blowing to me because he's not used. And they made a whole new model for him, and it's so cool to me because either that means they're going to add him in this level, like maybe they'll add Tharfos or her. I don't know if it's a female or male dragon, but whatever it is, I hope that they add it into the campaign because they made a really cool, unique model that looks different from all the green dragons, so I guess we'll find out.
Use Furion's Force of Nature ability or a ballista to knock them down. The largest thunder lizard
Ooh, I hope they have models for stuff like this because they have like storm worms, but you know, in some of these maps they have things like this where it's like a ancient storm worm. I don't know, I guess maybe they can still just scale it up or whatever, but... Okay, see how much faster that is? I got way better at this the longer I got on. And
another dungeon map, and it is like the Stone Talon Caverns, chock full of secrets.
Wish more people would... I don't know. I guess I don't know, like, whether people keep continuing watching after that or not.
Hi,
Jimmy the Seal.
Nature to set him free, then club him to get yourself a manual of health. Thanks, Jimmy. Due east of Jimmy is another cluster of mushrooms blocking a tunnel. Forced nature aside, wouldn't it be cool if the treants looked like mushrooms when you did this?
Ooh, I didn't think of that. That'd be cool if they add a treant model that's like a mushroom.
That's right, it's a panda, not even a Pandaren this time. It's quite a task to take the thing down, especially since it's immune to spells. But once you defeat it, you'll see why. It was wearing a necklace of spell immunity. This should be nice to have from here on out.
That's kind of fun.
Just
I wonder if
before
they'll add
Tyrande
that
and
too,
Fury
like a
part
giant
ways, there's
mutant
small
panda.
mushrooms by this pool of water,
That would
beyond
be
which
so
are a few
cool.
craters. The regions on the editor indicate that 2 of them should have something inside.
Oh, the new
One of them
Hydralisk. I've
is
seen it.
so I
It's
guess the
buggy
designers forgot to
because its like
The
spine
other
flaps
one
are
contains
permanently
sheep,
inflated, so it looks
honestly,
kind of funny,
access in
but
this area is
it
fine.
basically looks like on StarCraft 2.
I
It's pretty
forbid
neat.
it.
Only the goddess may forbid me anything. I will free Illidan whether you like it or not.
There's a small thing I noticed after Fury.
Horde Alliance.
If you move Fury to the door, he'll say,
I started with Alliance because I like Alliance, but
I like the King's Quest feel of
The,
him saying this, though it is interesting that his powers can't open the door.
Sorry,
I can't help but wonder whether
my
Tyrande sealed
highest
the
level
door or
character
if
was
the door
Horde.
is
It was
some
a
kind
troll
of seal
mage,
against
so
male Night elves
it's
set
like
there
I guess
by
Horde is
Watchers.
probably the one that
The
I've
next patch is just south
played
of the
most
Spectral
with.
Bridge. Inside this cave are a bunch of skeletons, and one of the marksmen will drop a scroll of help. But wait, there's more. Clear this tiny bundle here, and you'll find a teleporter. It'll transport you to this small tunnel where you'll grab...
that sound effect is from Oddworld, which I love, and I realized after I got done with the series, I never used the Zelda secret sound effect, you know, the I don't know why. I should have. Missed my
And
chance.
that's all for Furion's side. As for Tyrande's side, there's this weapon upgrade for your huntresses.
A cache of the Watcher's weapons.
It's actually kind of easy to miss due to a lack of a circle of power or other item to mark it. And when I was playing, I think I overlooked this gate in the corner of the library room, which leads to a
This
book
place
pedestal
is going to
that
look
drops a nice
really
little
different on
knob.
Reforged, I bet,
As far as
because
bona fide Easter eggs go, though, the
it's
only
just,
thing I could find was this
I
area.
mean,
You can
this
squeeze
is
past
probably
the
a place
trees
on
and
WoW,
start to
right?
see
Like,
the
I
car will
haven't gotten that far or whatever, but I mean,
Of the
this like Vault of the Watchers or whatever, like, they're probably going to make it look unique, but I don't know. All these underground places are going to look really interesting, probably.
I have no idea what the Uberfish was supposed to be, but the devs clearly thought it was pretty funny.
I wonder if that was an inside joke. I never really figured out what the Uberfish was for, but...
Things seem to calm down pretty much completely as far as Easter eggs go in the last 2 levels. There are some boots of Elvenkind plus 6 for Illidan and the spider sack here, if you're tired of opening ones with just spiders in them. Other than that, though, the lull is understandable.
This is
Part of the
something I
final
really
campaign
want to
is
see on
pretty intense and
Reforged.
plot-centric
Like,
anyway, and by this point, I think
I can't
players
remember
are
if there's
ready
like
to
a...
begin. I did find out what fat
I
loot is
looked at the
for.
models and I can't
On
remember if there was a
Twilight of the
specific
Gods, the game
animation for
fills
it,
the
but
Allied heroes'
I'm sure they're going to make that
inventory
look
slots with this
epic.
Since they're undroppable, these heroes' inventories are permanently
Apparently,
full for this
earlier you
scenario,
usst
so
to
they
have to
can't
like
take any
find the
items
Skull of
that
Gul'dan as an
Tyrande's
item and like make some kind of
I'm not sure how that
sacrifice
makes
instead
more
of
sense
defeat
than
that
just defeating
giant
Thrall's and
skull,
Jaina's
whatever that
hero
was.
inventory ability, or giving them actually useful items, but oh well.
I thought of that being a dope fish
There are a
reference.
couple
I don't
of
know
interesting
if
things
it's
in the credits
well known
cinematic after
enough,
you win the game.
but
Some of you
that would be
younger
pretty funny.
Warcraft whippersnappers may
Because
not
Commander
notice the
Keen
two
was the
homages to
first
Warcraft 2.
video
The first
game
one is
I
the
ever
opening
played.
cinematic
Well,
for
PC
Warcraft
game.
2.
Oh, this makes me want to play
And this
Warcraft
one
2
is one
again.
of the intermission cutscenes.
So much fun. This is weird. See this cinematic on the left? I checked, and they, for some reason, changed the model from a grunt to a bandit. I have no idea why they would do that in a
Easter
recent
egg
patch.
cinematic
Like,
is an extra
I'm just
scene
trying
that
to
plays if you beat
imagine
the
like
game
what
on
would
hard difficulty
what they were
and
trying to
push
do,
StarCraft. This
and
scene
that
varies
ended
each time.
up happening.
Sometimes
I don't know.
Greens
It
win,
was weird.
Sometimes the Chaos Space Orcs win, but the sheep is always the one to end it all.
It's gonna be fun to watch as well.
And that will do it for the Reign of Chaos campaigns. Thanks a ton for watching these videos. I've had a great time looking deep into these map files and finding...
Okay, and on to the next one.
Hey guys.
What questions you got for me? Question answer time. Was I the type of guy who really wanted to see a footman versus grunt large battle? I don't know about like always what exactly you mean that, but it definitely reminds me of Warcraft 2. It's funny, I noticed on Warcraft 2 when I was playing it this past week that if you wait on the intro screen long enough, then it shows like a demo, and it's funny because it's like that's what arcades were like back then. You know, they had just, it was playing a demo till you press start or whatever, so that was pretty funny. But I remembered that, how there was just this ice bridge and like grunts and footmen and trolls and archers fighting, and it was fun to see again. There's like a ship battle too. That's another thing I really like about Warcraft 2 is the ships. I miss like naval battles and stuff, and getting the oil, and obviously it's hard to make every level like that, which is why they don't have ships on Warcraft 3, but I miss it. It was super fun. Hello everyone. Do I like Night Elf race? No, I don't. I mean, I like the race itself, but like, if you mean on Warcraft 3, I'm just terrible with them. Like they're the race that I am the least powerful with. Why don't I like Sylvanas? I think she's just been around too long. Like she just keeps getting more and more like evil for seemingly no plot reason, you know? Like she's just like getting more and more and more evil, and like betrays the Horde and betrays everything and like enslaves the Forsaken. I don't know. I just feel like she's just getting, you know, and she like beats the Lich King one-on-one without even trying on the Shadowlands cinematic. I don't know. I just feel like she's not fun anymore. She has no, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, like I can't relate with her. She doesn't have any human qualities anymore. Like there's a whole sad thing about her losing her humanity, or I guess elven kind, from becoming a banshee, but it just gets excessive for me. I don't know. Good point, Luxillian. I am terrible with all races, but I'm the most terrible with Night Elf. What do I hope for Diablo 4? I never grew up with Diablo, like 1 and 2. I did play 3 all the way through, and it was okay, but I think 4 is going to be really good. Like, I love the open world aspect, and anyway, really, really cool. So, I guess that's all I really know about it so far is, from what I've read, Diablo 4 is really, really cool. And, yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely going to have to plan on ordering that when it comes out. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Terror of the Tides. This is my favorite Easter egg video I've made, I think.
Easter eggs. I'm going to start the Frozen Throne campaigns this time, beginning with the Night Elf campaign, Terror of the Tides.
There's just these little things I notice all these years later, like how I was like, Terror of the Tides. I'm so awkward on screen. I don't even know why I'm streaming for you guys. Why do you like watching me and listening to me? I'm not like charismatic. I have like a droning voice. I don't know, some people like it though.
Series, Easter eggs depend
So there you have it.
Hero abilities. If your hero can clear trees, there are usually Easter eggs hidden behind them. The same goes for if you have access to siege weapons. The Frozen Throne introduces a brand new hero ability that makes the possibilities of Easter egg
This is probably my favorite campaign.
The ability to teleport beyond normally
and the Tomb of Sargeras is easily my favorite map in the game. It is so intricate. It must have taken like a month or two to make because such a good map.
If you're serious about finding secrets as you go through, it's a good idea to prioritize putting hero points into the Blink ability as early as possible. The only thing I don't like about the Frozen Throne...
Have I tried Age of Empires? Yes, I grew up with Age of Empires. Loved the first one, loved the second one. Age of Mythology was okay. I never played any other ones beyond that.
Almost every single one contains a rune of mana.
I'm terrible at it, and the campaigns were too hard, so I didn't play it as much as Warcraft 3, but I like it. It's fun.
Just as a reminder,
do I hope for Warcraft 4? At this point, I don't think we're going to get a Warcraft 4. But what I do hope for is like a Warcraft 3 like expansion, like another expansion. How cool would that be? You know, like, I mean, StarCraft 2, they've got the 2 expansions, one for the new campaigns. So it'd be so cool if they had campaigns for Warcraft 3, like new ones made by the developers. So that's kind of my hope in place of Warcraft 4.
If you destroy the crate, a bunch of Murgle shell suckers and a clam trapper, a snare caster if you're playing on hard mode, ambush Maiev. They'll drop some
clam trapper? Man, I love how... One thing I like about Warcraft is how specific they are with like stuff like that. You know, it's like all these different kinds of Murlocs with their different names. On WoW, they have like the different kinds of foods with like adjectives, you know, like moist cornbread. Like they just go to so much detail to make every, like the names are really focused on. So That's what
You
I
can
like.
sneak around here.
Really
and
helps
see a
the
little island
role-playing
behind these trees.
experience.
On it is a Furbolg hermit who will drop some healing words if you mercilessly slaughter him. Seriously, I feel like a jerk whenever I get this Easter egg. Here he is, a lone Furbolg who's built a house away from everyone just so he can be alone, and possibly to avoid the encroaching corruption of the forests, raising stags peacefully, and a night elf warden appears out of nowhere and butchers him. Guess he shouldn't have set out that rune of mana. I blame the rune of mana. There are quite a few.
Yeah, they put too many runes in mana. I think they should have just made mana regenerate faster, you know? Then there wouldn't be all these hints
This was
everywhere.
apparently originally an encounter with Furbolgs. I'm guessing the whole idea of corrupted Furbolgs as enemies was just...
That's one thing I don't really...
So the devs
I mean, I love Warcraft 3 so much, so I feel like I'm super biased against anything negative about it. Like, it's hard for me to find things that I really don't like about it, but I think one thing is it's just kind of slow-paced. Like, I really like how fast Heroes of the Storm is, and I don't know.
The wild can attack.
Maybe I take it back. I kind of like how some things.
There's also a fun little
I don't
trigger
know.
that would make a bunch of skinks appear and scatter.
I will develop that opinion later.
The original region was supposed to be since it got deleted. Perhaps on an island. But here's the trigger recreated so you can see how it worked more or less. Woohoo. This level also has some unused dialogue, though unfortunately the sound files have been deleted, and all that remains.
Wow,
are
classic Easter eggs, huh?
Here are the lines. Move. The forest is too still.
That's my Maive impression.
Must be terrifying and
I don't know. WoW Easter eggs are not as interesting to me,
The tracks lead off into the sea.
and it would take so much of my like resources to go through and like, you know, find the places to film, and I don't think I'm gonna do a WoW.
Lastly, a couple of triggers.
It's the
suggest
strategy
that
games that I
warden
think are the
heroes
fun
were once
parts,
called
so.
warders in an earlier draft of the Frozen Throne, and there's an unnamed Mountain King in the editor whose purpose is unknown.
Oh yeah, I can't remember if he has a name or not, but he shows up in a few other ones, I
Unless you
think.
count the unplayable Orc Juggernaut unit in Reign of Chaos, this is the first time Warcraft ships have set sail since Beyond the Dark Portal. So it's understandable that this mechanic would be emphasized more than the blink ability in this map. Do some sailing and explore the oceans, and
I
you'll find
personally
some
don't
pretty
really
great
like the
loot from
look of the
previous
ships on
encounters. There are a
Warcraft
couple
3.
of blink
They were
sequences, such
really
as this pendant of
distinct
energy
and
on
stuff
the
on
other side of this
Warcraft
pond.
2,
You'll have to fight a sea giant
but like you
behemoth
can't
to
even
get
really
it, but it's
tell
possible to
like the
kite
difference
through the storm
between
and kill it
a
with your other units if you need to.
night elf
And the island to the far
frigate
northwest
and
is
a
library.
human frigate. You know, it's just like a sailing ship. So that's one thing. I haven't checked on
Actually, Maiev,
Reforged
there is
if they've
some
made that
knowledge to be
any
found.
different, but
The
I guess
hidden
we'll
tomes
see.
of the ancients, to be exact. Maiev will need some help from Naisha or a huntress's sentinel to see up on top of the walls, but there are 3 tomes of intelligence up there for her to grab. Pretty nice. There's also a Rune of Mana on this lower platform, but I can't for the life of me figure out what the point of it is. If it
I'm
were
gonna
me
do some
designing this
dubs
map,
for
I would have only
Reforged,
put
huh?
trees near the lower platform, so you
That'd
have to
be
use
pretty
the sentinel
hilarious.
to get on top of it, and then have the lower platform give you some visibility to the higher ones. I don't know. That's
This is a cool one. I like that. I like that Easter egg. That was cool.
The Tomb of Sargeras. I always wondered what this place was.
I love
because
this
I didn't
map,
play
and they have
Warcraft
new
2, and I loved this
models
map
for
when I
it.
first played as a teenager.
Like, it doesn't make sense that he
See
had
how
shamans
just by
following
playing
him,
it,
right?
but
They were
after looking at the
warlocks,
hundreds
so
of triggers it took to wire it,
they
the
have
complex
new
cinematic scripts, and the sheer
models for them,
complexity
and
of
for
the
Gul'dan
placement
himself
and
that are
layout.
sweet.
I realized that it must have taken months to make this map, probably by several different designers.
I always
It
wondered
could
if
be my
that was
very
a
favorite scenario on the Frozen
unique
Throne.
model,
Though
but
there
it's
aren't
just a
any
Doom
secrets in
Guard.
the map
I
that
wonder if they'll have a model for
Gul'dan's
Sargeras
Shadow
himself.
Quest is an
Guess we'll find
extremely
out.
fun and rewarding treasure hunt full of Easter egg-like encounters if you see it all the way through till its end. There are
Maybe I
10
should do a
fragments
video
to
on
find,
this
and
one.
their locations range from being inside a turtle's stomach.
Because I love
to
that
platforms
quest.
just outside
Like
the
finding
side
all the
village.
orbs.
I'm not going to ruin this one for you guys. Partly because it's already built in side quest.
That's
but also
true, I
because
guess.
It's just such a
Yeah.
satisfying way to explore this amazing dungeon and get rewarded with an awesome artifact. Go play the map and find all the orb fragments, putting this series' secret finding tips to use.
Oh yeah, my Reforged creeps. I haven't done that yet, have I?
And use your unit abilities.
That is so funny. I completely forgot that there were more of those maps to make. Yeah, I will do that soon. Thanks for reminding me, Lixillian. How do I make the flags on the enemies when you attack? That's queuing up like an order of actions, basically. So you just hold down Shift and right click, and then like you can shift click in a bunch of different places or enemies or whatever, and they'll do it in order. So that's how that works. It's pretty nice.
Then push into the Naga base at the top of this waterfall. Blink up this bigger waterfall, kill the Naga Royal Guard, and then break down the gate. You'll come up on the secret Keeper of Storms shrine. Nothing much happens when you arrive besides a small earthquake,
That's
but the
pretty cool.
1500 gold in front of the statue is a welcome addition to your coffers. While you're over here, blink off the north platform into this canal and you can find a Tome of Agility. Before you leave the Nog
Man, this
base,
campaign
go into
has
the
good-
other canal
good
behind
Easter
that gold
eggs.
mine and you'll find a +3 mantle of intelligence at the end of it. If you have the fully upgraded blink by this point, it's fairly easy to outrun the enemies, but be careful not to get overwhelmed. This level tries to stress you out with the whole runner mechanic and we have to call for reinforcements thing, but chill out. There's no timer going. Just
I
make sure
agree,
your
like
base is
Cillian,
protected
the
and
Warlock is
defensive.
so
Actually,
cool
to
on
help with
Reforged.
defending, on your
Like,
way to
so
retrieve
much better in
boats,
every
there's
way.
a glyph of fortification in the little stream behind these rocks. Activate.
And yeah, the tile sets, that would be interesting to see how, if they, I don't know, I hope each map has a lot of care put into it and like sort of transitioning it over to WoW, because look really cool.
Instead of taking them west like you're supposed to, first take some troops east along this canal. And this alcove here is a massive ruined gate.
This one was made by Dave too. Look, it's the same thing as the Great Panda thing, so kind of funny that he did that
It'll drop
twice.
some ruined bracers, which are really nice. The interesting thing about this encounter is that depending on who enters the area and witnesses the Infernal first, a different piece of dialogue is spoken.
One shot, one kill. Ashal Theridas!
I'd rather be hibernating.
Your move.
Nothing is spoken with the Huntress or Ballistae. I guess the developer forgot you encounter these units on your way to the boats who can join you at this point. Come to think of it though, I don't know what a Ballista would say.
Warcraft 2 sound effect.
Group name, Killjaden Seekers. This Infernal was likely sent by Killjaden to help Illidan, since we find out later that Illidan works for him.
It's
Moving
funny
on,
that
once
Dave
you
just
actually
put
go
in
west
these
of this
random
Murgo
little
gold coin
things, you know,
event,
like
everyone just
Killjaden
throws
Seekers or
Sentinel on
whatever.
street here.
The
They'll
funny
reveal
thing
the
is though,
platform
like a
and
lot of the
strength
things
them.
he just
Once
made
you
up
get to
and
the bottom
threw
left
into a
corner of
map
the
became
you
like
blink
canon.
across here to see
It's
yet
kind of
another
funny.
Pandaren Easter egg. This time, the new Pandaren Brewmaster hero. When you blink up to him,
Last call before closing.
he'll give you a pair of +3 slippers of agility, or as I like to call them, Spider-Man socks. Before you sail
Those
the
look a
runner to
lot better in the
destination, have
Reforged
Reyna go
version,
up
by the
this
way.
catwalk. Once you take out the
Same
two
with the
sirens,
Captain America
blink over this
helmet.
flowered area in front of the big fountain.
They kind of made it
Scampering
look
around over
less,
here is
I
Greg
don't
the
know, I
Rat.
guess it was a
He's
little
essentially
silly.
the counterpart to Filson the Rat in the culling map. He's wearing a talisman of evasion that makes him impossible to hit, so click him a bunch to get the amulet for yourself. One of the developers of Warcraft 3, David Fried, told me that these rats,
Fried.
Rank and Filson, are a spoonerism for the name of a Warcraft 3 producer, Frank Gilson, who apparently was good at dodging things.
Yeah,
Judging by the
Dave
layout
didn't
of
like
this
him
map,
very
It
much.
may be possible to access this area a bit earlier
So,
if you're really evasive yourself.
Snuck his name
There
into
seems
the
to be a
game.
platform behind the Naga base that could serve as a good point to blink.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you've seen this, but
Of course, you have to manage
I
to
made
get
that
through the entire Naga
experiment.
base without dying, and there are some trees blocking the path, so it
I
may not actually
experimented
be
to get
possible
to
pass them to blink. But if
reach
you
him
somehow
by
manage to
using
do
that, and there is a way to
just
do
let
it.
me know.
So
You'll
it's pretty
definitely
fun.
earn my respect.
Yeah, I earned my own achievement.
Besides these, I noticed that David forgot to add quest icons to the quests. BTN Ambush, the icon for Shadow Realm,
Yep,
is the default
and I
icon
recognize
when
that
you create a
immediately
quest
because
trigger
if you
on the
guys played
editor, and his
Reign of
icon
Chaos,
is
that
all
was the
requests
default
discovered on
icon
this map.
for quests. So I always had to figure out like what the path was for other
The
ones,
first secret on this
and I had to
map
guess a lot of the time because you couldn't just have a drop down. Those are hard times with making maps.
The regeneration and replenishment potion you get can help her defend the base. The other Easter eggs on this map are a bit haphazard. Some of them I'm not sure if they're supposed to be Easter eggs or
The
actual
Water
strategic
Lord on this
areas you're
level?
supposed to find. For example, there's this chamber with sea elementals.
I
here
must
that
have.
you
I don't know what
can
you're talking
force
about.
some nature through to get a bunch of tomes, a minor
Is it like
replenishment
secret or
potion,
just in a
certain ability,
space
but
that
it's a
you're...
pretty obvious one.
Because I don't talk
There's
about
also
things that
small
are
trees up
obvious. I
here,
try to
behind
focus on
which is
things
an
that are
extra
like out of the
relatively
way.
safe
So,
gold mine if you don't mind fighting some turtles. But again, this might be a logical place.
but yeah, I don't know anything
what
about a
you're
Water
talking.
Lord. That
There
sounds
is an
interesting.
interesting alternative way to reach Maev, though.
We'll have to fight our way through the Naga to reach Maev.
Well, you don't have to, Furion. You could just cut your way through the jungle behind the Storm Reaver camp. It leads straight there. There's even a rune of mana in one of the tents to help you with casting Force of Nature.
Very well. Let's get moving then.
The only other true Easter eggs I could find are on the other sides of Illidan's base. One is up in the top right corner. With daylight or ultravision, Maev can just make out the platform on the other side to blink to it. Inside a barrel is a nice amulet of Spell Shield. The dragon turtle by the aforementioned gold mine also drops one of these, which is a bit odd.
Yeah,
Since
that
you
was
have
weird.
multiple
That was
heroes
probably a
to
mistake. I
I'd
imagine
recommend
that
giving them to Toronto
there's a lot of
Fed,
stuff you
since
guys
Furion goes
and
out
I
and
didn't
gives
even
them
think
some.
about when it comes to map design. I mean, like different people make different levels, and then you gotta like
Yay,
make
another
sure
escort
that you
quest,
don't
the same
give like
campaign.
an amulet of spell shield in one level and then give it to him again in the next level. You know, you got to keep track of like what treasures you're giving, and I guess even within the same map it's hard. So
worthwhile to find. The first one is found in this crate on this ledge.
this is a memorable map.
For me personally, I
thought that was really clever how they did that. It looks like a little like a little shelf jutting out from the cliff edge that you jump down to.
Interesting obstacle for my ebb to blink past. Rather than physical barriers or water, it's just simply too steep to walk down to. Anyway, you'll snag our good old friend, the Orb of Fire, from this crate. The other three Easter eggs are most easily accessible if you take the northern route at the crossroads. One is in this ransacked camp. This crate contains another talisman of evasion. Another is in these crates by the river, a pair of +6 boots of Quel'Thalas. The last is a mounted bandit lord who will drop some +12 claws of attack upon death. All incredible finds for sure. How do you reach these since they're hidden behind trees, you ask? No ballista or force of nature this time around, but there is one ability you can use to get through trees.
Good stuff.
If only you could control Kale on this level, Flame Strike would have saved a lot of time. Speaking of Flame Strike, there's a disabled trigger or two that originally displayed text notifying you when Kale was casting a spell. For example, Flame Strike being cast and Scythe
I think I was wrong on this video on that
they
part.
later ended up using notifications like these way too often in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. They warned
I don't think that's the same thing. I think what those were just debug things, like, you know, just making sure they knew when he was casting it or something. So I think I made a mistake there.
Where you can read between the lines and see how Illidan likely flooded the city to make it fit for the Naga to settle on. Maps that are detailed like this are always fun. The only secret, though, is in the Paladin's jail cell. Instead of just rescuing
I wonder what
him and
Paladin
heading
he
out,
is that you
first
saved.
link up to the platform on the south side of the cell. The barrels
They have
contain
unique
some
models
potions,
for almost
a
all the
horse,
main
and a
campaign
+6
ones, but I
rope in the
forgot about
meantime.
him.
The editor indicates that the Paladin used to have slightly different dialogue. Instead of saying,
"The righteous might will always overcome the forces of darkness."
he would say the might of the righteous.
Will always overcome the forces of darkness.
Not sure why they changed it to make him sound cockier. And it's always bothered me that he says, "we will help you," and that Kale says, "some human paladins." I understand dialogue.
That would have been so weird if they
before
gave you
the map was
multiple
created, but
paladins.
still, why did they think having more than one paladin on the map would be fun in the first place?
Yeah, that'd be... I mean, you never need more than one of the same on a team.
The only
Anyway.
Easter eggs I could find on the Brothers Storm Rage are ones accessible by swimming through the water. Definitely first, as is controlling the
I think a lot of people have pointed
First
out
is an
that on this
North
map
River
there's a way
Bank
to
and
pass
Stone, and farther upstream is a powerful amphibious river golem.
Furian's items to Illidan, and then he can use them later in the Blood Elf campaign. I don't think I talked about that, but...
bonuses add up to +36 attack. That's pretty much it for the last level of Terror of the Tides, though. If you're getting stressed out from the game saying things like,
We must hold on to hope.
Best hurry if you want to save her.
and
Tyrande.
don't worry, unfortunately for the sake of challenge, there's a trigger that prevents Tyrande from ever dying. I always wondered, how did her warriors get downstream with her anyway? And those ancients, did she have a wisp in her pocket when she got swept downstream? Oh well,
I've wondered
at least one
that.
thing's for sure.
Whatever I may be.
But that portal's gonna look cool on Reforged too. They haven't updated it yet, I noticed, but when they do, I bet it'll look sweet. Oh, silly.
That blink ability sure added some length to the video. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, if you guys
Unless you like
haven't,
videos like I do, in which case you're welcome.
if you guys haven't seen it already, I have an interview with David Freed on my blog, and it's awesome.
Who you may have seen commenting on some of these videos. I was able to ask him some questions about Warcraft 3 and learn some amazing behind-the-scenes stuff. Click on this portal to go read the interview on my blog if you like.
Yeah, you can't click on
The
it
link is
anymore,
in the
but
description below. Don't forget
I
to
think
click
it's
like
on
before
the
you go if you
description,
liked the
probably.
video, and I hope to see you in the next episode
Yeah.
of Warcraft 3 Easter Eggs.
it's a really cool interview if you haven't seen it yet. So, all right, Q&A time. What do you guys got for me? What do you guys want to know? Will they fix the team color in the campaigns? What do you mean by that, Luxillian? Oh, blue Rexar. Oh man, I mean, I get it now why they did that. I mean, it was just it's kind of like on Heroes of the Storm why you're blue. Like, it's just to show you that you're the main character, I guess. But playing Warcraft 2, I realized why that bothered me so much, because the colors on Warcraft 2 are extremely distinct, and it matters, you know? Like, you see the different colors, and you're like, okay, that's the Nation of Eltrak, that's the Storm Reaver clan, or whatever. Like, and you can identify them by color, so that bothered me with Rexar. But I guess we'll see. Brown Rex R20 Blu-ray. What do you think about Maev's spells? I like Wardens. I think they're cool. Vengeance is weird though. I don't really get Vengeance. It's a weird ultimate ability. It's like you summon an avatar Vengeance that like raises the dead, and then I don't know. It's just weird. Like I feel like they could have maybe come up with a better one, but I don't know. Do more live streams here on Twitch. I have a Twitch. I did like 2 games on it, but I feel like YouTube's just easier to reach you guys. Like, I don't know if anybody would watch me on Twitch, and so I just do YouTube for the sake of ease. Yes, Blizzard said before the end of 2019 that it would be released, so we got, you know, like 3 weeks. Fingers crossed. Any other questions? Should we go on to the next video? No? Alright, cool.
Hi, I'm Abelhawk. Thanks for joining me on my look at the Easter eggs from Warcraft 3. We're going to continue with the Frozen Throne campaigns again this time, continuing with the Alliance campaign, Curse of the Blood Elves.
This is one thing I'm kind of... it's cool that I could make each intro have its own, like, thumbnail with the race's crest on it, and a face, and anyway, I'm glad that worked out like that.
It's fun, and I'm glad the Blood Elves have their own campaign, but the storyline seems a bit forced, and you never really get to command a normal melee map grade force with Frozen Throne.
I kind of agree with myself on this, that it wasn't, that it felt like a weird campaign, but I was a little hard on it, and I think Reforged will fix it.
And when you're not exclusively controlling
because,
Blood Elves, you're controlling Naga and
like,
Draenei,
just the new Blood Elf units make it
there are
a
also
little more
only 6
realistic.
levels, not including the secret one. The fewest number in any
The
campaign
Dungeons
in
of
the game,
Dalaran is going to be a
and
really
the
cool
secrets
map,
are
I
a bit
bet.
sparse.
But anyway, I think that they can fix it, like just with a new, kind of a new look, a new imagining and stuff. We'll see.
Elven ears heard them clearly enough. That's racist.
On this map, you might overlook this
Cinema
beach
Sins. I
that
forgot about Cinema Sins. I used to watch that all the time.
Drop a Maul of Strength and a Rune of Mana, but the real secret is in this tree. If you knock or burn it down, an albatross flies out. It'll drop a robe with a Magi +6, which is an incredible find for an intelligence hero on the first level of a campaign. If you can get the stupid thing to die over dry land, that is.
I forgot that could happen.
There's also a moss-covered granite golem hidden over here on the southern island. It's quite a battle, but even
See, it's this stuff that I wonder if they'll make models for, or if they'll just tint him green like they did before.
Besides that, there's a bundle of lumber hidden in this back alleyway of Dalaran you might miss. Nothing too secretive besides the albatross Easter egg. But
yeah, that was a cool Easter egg. Like I don't think I would have found that ever. So.
Oh, speaking of the caches, the triggers indicate that they were originally magic vaults. I'm not sure if they're originally vaults left behind by the Dalaran Magi that Kael wanted to salvage, or if the Blood Elves themselves originally hid their stuff in them. But at some point they were changed to sites with just buried supplies instead. The quest icon clearly backs this up.
I forgot about that.
I was thinking that icon was symbolic this whole time. This level is unique in that it keeps the story in the same geographic place that it left off in the last episode. Obviously there are some differences that don't make a ton of sense. How did these trolls establish a village where Kael just barely destroyed an undead base? But overall it looks like the map designers just
that was a cool
the map over to the west a bit to make room for the new story.
Transition there.
Looking at the map file, however, it seems that they left behind something that's outside the camera bounds. Shall we take a look?
I still don't know how camera bounds work on the Warcraft editor. Kind of surprised I didn't get demonetized for this song. It's kind of a big one.
It's all organized so that
I mean, it's fair use, but usually like they get detected or whatever.
Bridge, but it's all pretty close together. I had no idea how camera bounds worked until I saw this level in the world editor.
I still wouldn't know how to do it myself,
but you can access
looks really cool.
Down this dam, and it'll drop a mana stone, a tome of agility, and a ring of regeneration. But it's basically the only secret area in this entire level. In the map file, there's one unused sound file.
They've begun their attack. We must push them back.
The disabled trigger wired to this adds the words, "to their blasted citadels," to the end of this line. It seems maybe
Other
like
languages
a
have
throwaway
that
line
translation
for the most
too.
part. Maybe the devs thought that the rhyme was distracting.
They've begun their attack. We must push them back. They've begun their attack. We must push them back. They've begun their attack. We must push them back.
That took forever, I think, from what
The
I
dungeons
remember.
of Dalaran have the fewest
Just
secrets
to
of
get
any
it
dungeon
matched
map
up
so
with
far,
the,
but probably the most secrets in
good
any level
times.
on Curse of the Blood Elves. The first noticeable one is okay, Trogdar, but it's an obvious reference to Trogdor.
I am the hugest HomestarRunner.com
It's clear that Blizzard
fan,
employees really enjoyed
in
this
case
site.
that
Who
didn't
doesn't? As later, Trogzor
alert you to that. I love HomestarRunner.com. I used to have like 6 Homestar shirts in high school.
And they even thank HomestarRunner.com in the additional thanks section.
It's
of the
such a
WoW
good
credits.
site if you haven't
The
seen it
items throughout
already.
the map,
It's so
as well
weird,
as the
but
versions
so
of Granny
good.
Tomes and stuff are all pretty easy to find, so I won't go into them. Instead, I want to talk about the secret level area by the sheep. I was personally pretty disappointed.
Yeah, David explained this to me, how it used to be way more complicated,
Even if
but
you've never heard the term before, it only takes a bit of trial and error to unlock the power-up. I wish that the power-up would have been more outside the box like it is in StarCraft 2. On Wings of Liberty, you have to go into an out-of-the-way area and destroy a building to get the power-up. It's simple, but the misdirection was done very well, to the point where I completely missed it when I played through the campaign. This one, however, is pretty much impossible to miss. The sheep room is in a normal area.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind the... I think maybe if it just would have been behind some mushrooms or something, I think that would have satisfied me, you know, just kind of hidden like that, but...
Originally, they would cast
But it wasn't
spells on
terrible.
themselves. The inner sheep would cast inner fire, the blood sheep bloodlust, and the cold sheep frost.
Oh yeah, that was so
Also,
weird.
originally you could destroy the pens holding them, and something really strange would happen. Triggers would create an invisible child they called Timmy that would follow Kale around, and then the sheep would follow the child. I'm pretty much...
Yeah, it's from...
It's just a downright weird trigger. I'm guessing the developer...
Maybe I'll do a Warcraft 2 quotes video. There's only like 4 quotes that are references, but Bahramu is from, I think it's from a movie. Babe, I think? Like Ram is a male sheep, You is a female sheep, and then Ba is what they say or whatever. But anyway, I realized that they might not have, like that might not have translated right into other languages, so kind of
Here are
interesting.
artifacts from races all over Azeroth. The Spider Kingdom, Northrend, the Burning Legion, the Tauren tribes, even plant samples from Outland. Possibly
That's
obtained
pretty
during
cool.
the Second War. I don't know how they got stuff from Kalimdor, though. Perhaps there's more to the Cairn Tor than we think. Of
I
course,
love the
many
Dungeons of
horrifying
Dalaran. The
experiments
flesh
like
golems look really
definitely
cool on
show up in the
Reforged.
darker light.
They'll be pretty
Actually,
fun.
the runes to open this treasury are kind of hard to find. The other rune is found down here behind some mushrooms. The Frostworm
It doesn't
Skull
really
Shield,
mean
Essence of June,
anything,
Shamanic
Bahramu.
Temple.
It's like I said, it's just, it was like a password or something
The
on
dust of appearance item, which normally just reveals
a
the
movie.
units.
I'll have to, I'll
Description
research
sheet
that and do a
goals,
quick little
ghosts.
Warcraft 2 video
This
sometime.
suggests that David was originally toying with the idea of making the ghosts of the Archmagi invisible, and you had to reveal them with the dust before you could put them to rest.
That would be
An
cool.
interesting idea, but a bit complex. The secret level is actually
This
a
one's
fairly
gonna be
impressive
fun.
attempt at shoehorning in a tower defense style map into the lore of Warcraft. Though Garithos is obviously pretty stupid for guiding his troops through the gauntlets without regarding the towers in progressively stronger ways.
Whoever destroys the portal will be a hero.
Yeah, a posthumous award. Way to motivate Garithos. One
What
thing
a
you may not
silly,
have noticed is
oh
that this
man,
observatory
it's
in the
funny
middle
when
of the map
developers
was
try to
known
add
as
stories to
invulnerable. You
like,
can totally destroy it if you
especially
want to,
like
shrouding the map in fog of
like
war.
League of Legends
Obviously,
and
it's a
stuff.
stupid move unless
It's so
you're
funny that they
elitist
try to make a
But I
story. Like
having
MOBAs
friends
just
do
don't
stuff
make
like this in
sense
games.
story-wise.
If
Like
you've
you wouldn't
ever
want to be
beaten all the
pushing
ways, and it's not too hard if you can
across to
survive
destroy their
Destiny
core or their
You know what the
nexus
final
or whatever
is.
you call it.
And
Like
if you
it's
haven't gotten to
just
the end,
say
you're
it's a
probably
fun
not
game. You don't have to make a story to it. It's pretty funny.
Brewmaster. I realized with the last little sheep secret room that Warcraft seemed to shift from sheep being the secret / comic relief. of the
Yeah,
game
sheep.
to
That's why they
Pandaren
said
Warcraft 3,
Bahramu and
and then
Warcraft 2 is
starting
because
with
they were
WoW,
a joke. Like
races,
sheep
now
were the
Murlocs,
jokes back
which
then.
looked like a tiny
Polymorph,
role
you
in
know.
Warcraft 3 was pretty surprising.
But now it's all Murlocs. And recently it seems to have been shifted to like
If you successfully beat all the waves on the secret level, your reward is the final.
Feels like there's something else that has been that they've been joking about a lot lately.
Nice
I can't remember.
Especially since it makes it a 3-to-1 tug-of-war match against my Ev. Granted, she's level 10, but once she's down, it's a lot easier to take control of the wagon. That's about it for this level, but in case you're wondering, the army spawns are based on the available buildings in the cities. So if you wanted to stop my Ev from summoning mountain giants, for example, destroying her Ancient of Lore would do so.
Yeah, I feel like that level could have been a little better. I don't know.
Nothing to see in this one. Move along.
Yep, sadly, there's no Easter eggs at all in that one. At least that I could find. Maybe in the dead of my top
I
one.
always have to laugh at those spell breakers. Look at them stupidly marching to their deaths despite their long journey to get here. It also makes the dialogue between Illidan and Kale pretty funny.
Yeah, he's like...
Your warriors are prepared to fight to the end. Their courage alone may be enough.
Their courage alone may be enough.
I wonder if this irony was intentional when the devs were making this cutscene. What I like about the final level is
this level's crazy. I mean, it's like a Diablo level. They have the Butcher in there.
In essence, you're fighting through the depths of hell itself to conquer it and claim it for Illidan. I also think it's kind of funny that the Naga go through the levels.
I hope they add more difficulty to the Reforged campaigns too, because... Actually, never mind. What am I saying? I've never played this on hard difficulty. I should do that before I say anything.
The countless barrels and crates with items in them, there are a few areas of interest to be found.
The Draenei look better.
The Butcher, and he may literally be the Butcher from the first Diablo game. He even says,
Fresh meat.
with the exact same sound file as that found on Diablo 1. And one of the items he's guarding is Wirt's other
It's literally the same sound file. It's even called, like, Butcher.wave, like, ripped straight from Diablo. I thought that was pretty cool.
Be amused by its description. Perhaps the overzealous adventurer pried this off before his journey here, thinking it might give him one last opportunity at bovine slaughter. Little did he know where it would lead.
This is Diablo music right here.
Wirt was found dead, and you could take his peg leg from him and combine it with a Tome of Town portal to access a hidden cow level, where you fight hell bovines. This item being Wirt's other leg suggests that the adventure...
yeah, someday I should play this, because this looks pretty fun.
Leg from his corpse. Perhaps this one transported Diablo's adventure to Outland instead, where he perished.
Oh, this makes me wonder if they're actually going to put the Butcher into this campaign. Like the Butcher himself from like the Heroes of the Storm model. I never even thought of that. Probably not, but maybe. I mean,
how many worlds have the Burning Legion conquered? Could the demons of the Burning Legion and those of Sanctuary be one and the same? The mind wobbles. As far as I can tell, this item is the only one that isn't found in any of the campaigns. Perhaps it was intended to be, or perhaps it was simply replaced with Wirt's other leg to make a funnier story. There's some snowmen here behind these mushrooms, along with some gold. I actually didn't realize until now that snowmen were placeable doodads in Warcraft 3. I thought they were only part of the Azeroth Grand Prix level, but here they are in the props
I can't believe they remade the go-karts on that level for Reforged. I seriously wonder if... I know they outsourced the model creation, but I seriously wonder if they're just like, here are all the models, just do all of them, and we'll get back to you. Like, maybe that's why they did Tharafos, because they're just like, oh, here's a green dragon model, we'll just make it.
Episode of Warcraft 3 Easter eggs. Not as many as the other episodes, but I guess the addition of an entire scenario that's technically an Easter egg in itself is pretty...
Not as many. This video's 12 minutes long. It's longer than the other ones.
Give this video a like on your way out. So at a glance, the way the founding of Durotar is set up with its RPG elements and everything, I don't think there are any Easter eggs in it. So
I don't know why I thought that. That was kind of stupid. I hadn't even looked at that point. Of course there are Easter eggs in it.
Publicity for these videos.
Okay, cool. Oh, whoops. I need to fix that. I need to turn that... thing off at the end with that little ad thing I did for the Hive Workshop. They're not like sponsors or anything. I just wanted to thank them because it was because of the users there that shared my videos that you are all here today. So anyway, all right, cool. You guys got any questions for me? Let's see. Cool, I'm glad you found the Easter eggs, Luxillian. Anything else? think there's a chance it will control dismounted Arthas and Thrall. I hope so. Yeah, there's a dismounted Thrall model, and he might just be for cinematics, but I think it'd be cool if like he used that model in the dungeon, for example. You know, it's kind of weird that he'd be mounted inside the what's it called? Wherever he was looking for Medivh. I can't remember what that place is called, but do I like these missions? Not sure which ones you're talking about. This campaign, pretty good. Zerg references video. Thanks, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, there's just not that many, sadly, but DLC or no DLC, huh? I have a complicated opinion of DLC. Like, there's certain kinds of DLC that I like and others I don't. Like, I don't know. I mean, in some cases I like when, like, I like skins. I think it's cool when you can just download skins because it's like, you know, they're not going to give you a benefit or anything. But I also like DLC when it's just an expansion. You know, like I bought an expansion set to Warcraft 3 when I was a kid, and that was kind of DLC, except it wasn't downloadable. It was just extra content for more money, and so I don't know. It kind of depends, I guess. Yeah, I'm never going to say I don't think there are any Easter eggs again, because there always are. Campaign vids when Reforged is out. Yeah. When Reforged is out, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to just go crazy with posting basically anything I can find about Easter eggs and stuff. I might do a playthrough. Who knows? I don't know. I guess we'll kind of just see when it happens. I definitely want to like at least record, if not stream, like my first reaction of playing, because I don't know, I might look like a little kid getting Warcraft 2 for the first time like I did when I was like 8. The Albatross clip, I was showing how to screw it up just for comic relief. Yeah. Everything I put in my videos is put there like very deliberately. So, in fact, there's some Easter eggs in these videos where, like, for example, when I was filming footage, I like named the unit something different. So when you're clicking on it, if you look down at the bottom, it's named something different or whatever. Anyway, so that's something fun if you want to look for those. High fidelity, the Reforged models. I already think the bar for custom content has been raised too high. That's a good point. I've thought a little bit about that. I've never really liked custom content. I've just liked to sort of challenge myself by using all the Warcraft 3 assets that are normally in the game. But you're right, it's definitely going to be harder now. Mods, no, I haven't really created mods. Third-person control. I don't know if you guys saw, maybe, but I did there was a contest held in my honor at the Hive Workshop, map making contest, and somebody made like a third-person, like a third-person sort of front view one, and it was really cool. So you could check that out if you wanted to. Reviews of custom maps? No, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll look at them, but I don't know. I just don't really have interest in anything not made by Blizzard. I'm sure there's amazing stuff, but like none of it's like polished to my standards and stuff, and I don't know. Maybe I'll try it sometime. If anybody has any like recommendations, maybe I'll check them out. Planning to do something similar to my Halloween event for Christmas. Are there any Christmas style maps? Because that could be kind of fun, and we could do Funny Bunny's egg hunt for Easter. I don't know. I'll think about it. This is kind of my like December stream event though, but we'll see. Alright, I think that's good for now. Easter eggs on Grand Prix. It's already almost an Easter egg in itself, just like kind of a, like just a silly little map, but in Reforged, maybe. Oh yeah, the gym and the editor. I think I've talked about that a little bit, but none of my actual videos. Yeah, and the world editor.
This is brought to you by my friends at the Hive Workshop. I'm indebted to their support and inspiration. Visit hiveworkshop.com for all your Warcraft map-making questions, to download thousands of Warcraft resources, and to meet an engaged, helpful community who loves Blizzard's games.
Hive Workshop is the bomb, though. If you guys haven't been, you gotta check it out. It's awesome.
Easter eggs for Warcraft 3. This time
oh, so awkward and bad audio, and I had such a bad camera back then, and so I had to like bring the sides in and put some tacky animation behind it. Oh man. Thankfully, because of the money I've been making from these YouTube videos, I was able to get like a better webcam and
this is a fun map, and it's
you know, just like a better gear for this. So I'm glad that it's been able to, you guys have been able to help me out basically.
One trick forward Easter egg hunting, especially on this campaign, is canopy trees. These are doodads new to the Frozen Throne.
I realized that because of visibility, those aren't as good at hiding stuff than I thought. You guys ever played Lost Vikings? I love that game. I loved it before I even knew it was a Blizzard game.
Stand out pretty starkly against the coniferous Lordaeron summer trees. In this clearing is a boy named Little Timmy who will sell Arthas ice shards. These 750 gold cost items summon ice shards, which can be pretty useful. Now let me tell you a bit about Timmy. I actually made a mistake in the Scourge of Lordaeron video when I said, whoever he is, you'll see him in a future level, so take note of him. At the time, I remembered there being a Timmy on this level who sold you ice shards, but I thought that it was this ghoul, not a child. It made more sense in my mind for a ghoul to be doing business with a Death Knight like Arthas, not a little kid. I was wrong, but my confusion has some justification. There are several different Timmys in Warcraft 3. There's the one in Strombrad you saved from the Knolls, who actually makes an appearance in the founding of Durotar with his mom Alicia. Not sure where his other brothers are. There's this
hope my stream doesn't start skipping too, that'd be bad.
Who may or may not be Timmy the Cruel, an elite ghoul boss on World of Warcraft encountered in Strathhole. There's the invisible child Timmy in the dungeons of Dalaran that we looked at last time, though obviously his role was just a trigger facilitator and was only named Timmy internally, so he doesn't really count. There's this child on the way to Arthas' concert who is also named Timmy. And of course, there's this Timmy, who frankly doesn't make
pretty sure they're all named after Tim Campbell, who is one of the
child selling ice shards to the undead.
Who is one of the
I personally think he's a goblin machine in disguise,
like level designers.
To use the appearance of innocence as a way to charge more in wares. He's mechanical, isn't he? And in the game file, his voice is the same as a goblin merchant.
Can I help you?
Those sneaky goblins. Oh, and there's a penguin Timmy too, but we'll get to him later. Obviously, the
this was a good campaign for Easter eggs, I forgot.
Concerning these discrepancies, David Fried, who made this level, stated, Timmy got used a few times because multiple designers ended up making the same references in different areas. Tim Campbell was the level designer who put the original Timmy into Warcraft 3, and another level designer, Dean Shipley, put the undead ghoul Timmy in the later level. The WoW Quest designers were not the same designers from Warcraft 3, so it's not surprising that things got mixed up, and thus you have Schrodinger's Timmy, who is simultaneously alive and undead.
Hope my man, it looks like the stream's skipping a little bit.
Will someday be the Undercity.
Sorry,
Most of them
everybody.
are fairly obvious to find, and the ones that
I don't know
aren't
what
don't
causes
get very
this.
good loot, but this doesn't make them any less fun to hunt down. One of the first things I geeked out about when I bought the Frozen Throne was the elevator doodads, even though I'm not sure I ever got them to work very well on my own. I need to look into that, actually. There are a couple outside the box ones, though. One of the first you can access is on the other side of this elevator platform with the pendant of energy on the other side. If you get a meat wagon to destroy these walls here, you can get to the other side where you can find some gold coins and a potion of men. Definitely a lackluster secret if ever there was one, but oh well. Farther on, this fountain of health looks like a dead end, but if you creep up to the right, you'll find a path to a somewhat redundant rod of necromancy. Off to the east of this secret is a half-concealed minor replenishment potion if you want it to.
Why does he have an orb of venom? That's interesting. I forgot about that.
These trees here. You can have your ghouls or meat wagons knock them down.
I should probably play through this entire, like all the campaigns before Reforged comes out.
I liked finding artifacts.
I probably won't, but I should. That's one I hope they have. That abomination, I think his name's Blood Feast. It would be so cool. CSI Azeroth. Anyway, yeah, I think Blood Feast model would be so cool.
This is a unique map to be sure. Being weak yet able to bolster your forces through possessing the leaders of the various creep tribes on the map is a fun mechanic to say the least. But it appears that this level used to have even
yes,
more
there is another Timmy that's that model for Art Command, and I didn't find it until later, but yeah, I'll talk about him in, I think I talk about him in the, probably one of the addendum videos.
Blizzard game of the same name to enlist the bandits to your side. The two mercenary camps.
I think they should put Blackthorn in, or whatever his name is, in Heroes of the Storm, because, you know, it's technically a Blizzard game.
Find enemy is to kill.
For Lady Sylvanas.
when you hire them. You'll notice as you explore that there are other creatures around. Snarlmane the Gnoll, Zulrog the Forest Troll, and the Puddle Lord of the Murlocs. Nothing happens to these
Puddle
creatures'
Lord.
armies when you possess them. Their own troops just turn on them and kill them, but judging by some missing sound files of the map, that wasn't always the case. Just like in every other scenario in Warcraft 3, every map's dialogue files are numbered by the order in which they're used on the map. There are a couple of sound files that are still used for the extra creep lords.
You'll never get us all, witch. Chieftain Zulrog will hunt you down and avenge us.
That's totally Chris Metzen's voice.
No one trespasses on our territory.
Once you know Chris Metzen's voice, you hear him all over the place on Blizzard
However,
games.
judging by the numbers of the sound files, there are 6 troll sounds, 5 gnoll sounds, and 7 murloc sounds missing.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have those sounds. I want to know what they say.
Possession, and that these missing sound files are ones of Sylvanas and the respective creeps taunting each other, Sylvanas lamenting the creep leader's death without being possessed, and unique mercenary camp sounds like those of the bandits and ogres. There's only one sound file that is still in the map file but goes unused.
That ugly toad is the creature we seek. Once we claim his tiny mind, his minions will serve our cause.
Obviously, possessing and controlling 5 armies of creeps to march.
Yeah, this level got pretty crazy.
Overkill, so the devs obviously cut it down to just the ogres and bandits.
But
Man,
it's
though,
fun
what I
anyway.
wouldn't give to have all of the original sound files for the dialogue in Warcraft 3. There's several missing in just about every map in the game. There's just one thing I don't understand about possession. Why does Mugthor still talk in oversimplified sentences?
Mugthal is what I meant,
Pretty
I think.
ghost. Isn't he now just a banshee inside an ogre's body? Sylvanas says something about stealing minds, so maybe Warcraft's definition of possession is a little different from the conventional one.
Ogres look sweet on Reforged too. In fact, they look almost too
Skull
not
Snowman.
silly,
Well
if that
played,
makes
Frost
sense.
Trolls. Well played. On this first island, if you go up this hill and kill the Tuskar, you'll see a couple of penguins behind their base. The large one will drop a ring of superiority when killed.
Penguins. So many dead penguins on this level.
First enter the canopied forests to the south. If you take the west path, you can find a hidden scroll of mana in the trees. If you take the east branch of the path, you'll come upon
This
the
was a
Penguin
crazy one.
They'll drop a +4 ring of protection for you. The Penguin King is surrounded by piles of fish, but surprisingly devoid of loyal subjects. The scenario file indicates that this was
Probably because I
always
killed them
intentional.
all.
There are 2 units, a Penguin Warrior and a Penguin Royal Guard, that both go unused in the unit editor. There's yet another penguin Easter egg in the Penguin Pen in the Tuskar village to the northeast. Most of the penguins are normal critters, but one of them is named Little Timmy. He doesn't drop anything.
Man,
at a glance, just
I would
looks
like
at
to
his
shake
face
anyone's
and
hand who
looks
found
at
that
the penguins
without
closely. But the triggers
looking
in
into the
that file
map,
say
because I
otherwise.
never
In
would
the
have. I
item
never
editor,
would have,
there's an
like...
item called Little Timmy. Its model and interface icon.
I never would have clicked all the penguins and found one named Little Timmy. It's crazy.
Whoever's holding him wander around and run away just like a critter does. There's some disabled triggers that show that originally,
power of a
if you brought
critter.
the Little Timmy item to the Penguin King, a message would read, "Little Timmy returned," and the Penguin King would reward Arthas with a circlet of nobility. It's not clear how you obtain
That's
the
a
Little Timmy
fun...
item. Perhaps the penguin in the pen changed into an item when you got close to him. Perhaps he was all alone
forgot
somewhere
about that.
completely
That was
different.
that would
Either way,
be-
the mini quest was taken out, presumably
cool
because it was
little
in the
Easter
dev's
egg.
mind too cheesy, complex, or otherwise unnecessary. Personally, I wish Blizzard would have left in some of these really crazy, complex Easter eggs. Maybe 90% of players wouldn't have even noticed the
So
Little Timmy, but
brutal.
those who
He's just
did and
slaughtering
realized
all the
he could be
penguins.
taken to the Penguin King in exchange for an item would have had a fun experience. The very essence of Easter eggs is that feeling of discovery. Speaking of items, there's another unused item on this map called...
Oh, is there a new
Beard.
Mugthal?
It has no
I know there's a
special
new...
abilities, and it seems to be designed only to be purchased, since it's only distinguishing data.
Maybe
as
it's just
a
the,
tool.
like,
This book
chieftain,
is full of
the
beard styles
one-headed
and
chieftain that I'm
techniques.
thinking of.
There aren't any shops on the map.
Yeah,
and
it looks really
relics you
cool.
can build doesn't sell
They're
it,
almost
so I
like
have
not
no idea
silly
what its
enough though, if that
original
makes
was.
sense. Like in Warcraft 2 they're just super silly, you know, bare butts and everything. And in this one they just look kind of silly, but now they just look like too cool, I guess. And they still talk with the silly voice, so it's kind of funny.
Other comments about the earthquakes. The devs probably just didn't want too many of them. Although it's a level with some cool city scenery and some funny parts.
There are so many new Dreadlord models. So many.
For Lord Garrett,
Who are we supposed to be fighting again?
Lord's Fall didn't have anything out of the ordinary that I could find, and a new power in Lordaeron doesn't have anything either, except for these fruit and vegetable Lordaeron city stashes. I missed them the first few times I played through this campaign because the level doesn't show finding them as an optional quest.
They should have done that, because there's like 3 of them.
Cutscenes in it, though.
I require one last test of your loyalty, Dreadlord. Do it.
You wouldn't dare.
It's a shame that they had to retcon Balnazar back to life in World of Warcraft. That was a really cool.
I still think that was a retcon. A lot of people have said, "Oh no, he can only die if he's killed in the Twisting Nether," but that doesn't seem like the intentions of the developers in this. Like, I'm pretty sure they want, like, I'm pretty sure the story was that he was following Sylvanas, but I don't know. Maybe they had it stuff planned for the future. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it to me.
Unfortunately, they all have pretty obvious solutions. I wish these maps, most of all, the final.
This is cool, and I wonder if they're going to change this on the Reforged campaign, because
but the traps don't do a lot of damage.
Because, I mean, these aren't going to be challenging for players who have already played the game. Like, they already know the solutions to the
second map. The only secret I can find is a circlet of nobility
to the puzzles, you know? So, like, I wonder if they're going to make these more difficult, or
a blue crab and a red crab that don't seem to have a purpose. Maybe they were going to be in this crab room and serve as some kind of secret depending on which one you killed first or something. See what I mean? They should have kept more trivial secrets in this mysterious place. There's also Broken Trigger that talks about a fountain plate and an elevator. I wonder if this fountain was originally, I don't know, on a floating elevator and you had to
see, that's what I'm saying, Corica. Like, they've retconned a lot of stuff in the past. Like, I think the biggest retcon was Draenei. Like, they clearly didn't like the old Draenei at all, and they're like, you know what, let's say that they're mutants of Eridar.
Admit it, this is totally a Zelda fight. Those ruins around
this totally is a Zelda fight, except not as fun.
Except the boss isn't really fun to fight, nor very hard.
So far, they don't, like...
You can just walk out and
they have the Forgotten one in the Reforged models, and it looks really cool, but... It's just, they didn't improve it, at least mechanically they haven't improved it at all, but like Flame Strike, I don't know, I wish that it would have, they could have made it cooler. Maybe they will.
Okay, I guess. The third section doesn't have any secrets, but I do have to say I'm very impressed with the triggers it took to operate the devices. The timed frost traps, the Indiana Jones
those are pretty sweet.
With the weighted switches, this fun area. This level definitely is a memorable and fun one that I always look forward to when playing through the Frozen Throne.
I need to play through the campaign again, guys. Like, I just love this game.
So
it's been a long time since I've played all the way through.
Still have not been able to beat this map without
Maybe I'll play all the way through Warcraft 2 and then play through Warcraft 3.
I know. But
still haven't beaten this level, guys. Even after 5 years? No, 4 years. Yep, still haven't beaten this one.
The only secret here is a big map mechanic that was taken out. You know those earthquakes?
I'm pretty bad. I just like the stories. I don't like...
Those originally
I'm bad at like multitasking and no, what's it called?
Shake the screen and make a rumbling noise. They would actually do heavy damage to
what's that word? Like mini.
I think this would have made it easier for me at least.
I don't know what the word is. I'm trying to figure out.
Basically,
like micromanaging. That's it. I'm bad at micromanaging and like hotkeys and stuff. Like I'm just too slow, so it's hard to. I don't know. I should try it again though.
I see why it may have been taken out, though. It probably made the game a lot longer and more frustrating, like a game of Monopoly. Obelisks. You know, come to think of it, the victory condition on this level doesn't make much sense to me. Couldn't Arthas just hide by one of the bridges until Illidan activated all the obelisks and then run across?
That's a good point. And they both reach there anyway, so
he and Illidan both
kind of weird.
There at the same time anyway, making the entire struggle pointless and come down to a one-on-one duel. Oh well, a pretty epic end to an epic campaign either way. And that does it for the Frozen Throne campaigns. Thanks so much for all your support, views, likes, comments, and shares. I'll make sure to make one more video about all the secrets that What's this? Well, it seems that I was wrong. There are some Easter eggs in Rexar's campaign.
Yeah, there are, Abelhawk. Shouldn't have jumped the gun. Oh yeah, I love the opening to that one. But first, some more Q&A. Anybody have any questions for me? Is there a confirmed Reforged release? Not that I know of, just that it'll be here before the end of the year, but I'm guessing they're just going to say the beta's open before the end of the year, so that counts, right? Symphony of Frost and Flame is literally a fusion of the 3 final missions from StarCraft Brood War. Interesting. I think you're right, because yeah, I remember you had to line up some like nukes or something in a cross. I can't remember exactly how that works, but yeah. You can ask more, nobody else is. Lich King. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. Oh, it looks like there's a few more questions before we move on. Have I read any of the Warcraft books? I have not, but I want to read. I was just looking over at my bookcase. I used to have one that was like, I don't know if it was about Illidan or what. Like, I think it had Illidan on the cover, but it was like one about post-Cataclysm or something. It didn't really interest me. What I'd like to read are like the ones about Beyond the Dark Portal, or things that happen in Warcraft 2, or like far in the past of Warcraft. I think those would be good. Although I do have these. Warcraft Chronicle. And I gotta say, they're awesome. They detail like the entire history of Azeroth and Draenor. How did that? There's the other one. Anyway, these are great. If you haven't read them, they talk about every aspect of all of the games, in between each of the games, the ancient history of Draenor and Azeroth, Titans. It's really good. So those are pretty good. Rexar campaign's being reforged. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be reforging it. I mean, Admiral Proudmoore is, he has his own new model and some of his unique units, like the Chaplain and like the Hydromancer. They have their own models, so Rexar will definitely be reforged. Gazlowe, yeah, Gazlowe really needs to be a tinker on the game because he's like Goblin Sappers and it doesn't make sense. A favorite human kingdom and faction? Yeah, I always liked Lordaeron in Warcraft 2. Probably just because they looked so cool in white. Like they just looked really cool when I was in when I was a kid. So yeah, I think the Nation of Lordaeron is probably my favorite kingdom. The music from the Be Right Back screen is, if anybody knows it, they can win a chance to design the next custom emoji. So if anybody knows, I'll tell you at the end of the stream if nobody guesses it. Favorite orc clan from Warcraft 2? Oh man, let's see. There was Blackrock, Stormreaver, Blacktooth Grin, Bleeding Hollow, Burning Blade, Dragon Maw, and not Warsong. Who are the purple ones? Twilight's Hammer. Man, who is my favorite orc? I think maybe the Stormreaver clan. I've always loved Gul'dan. I think he's always just so cool, and the blue orcs always looked really cool, and so I think probably the Stormreaver clan. That's a good question. I like that. We'll go one more. Let's see. Oh, Lord of the Clans. I do want to read Lord of the Clans. I like that a lot, especially with the Warcraft movie. I love the Warcraft movie, and I'd like to kind of read about that as well. It's a remix of Carol of the Bells, sort of, but it's from a specific source, so it's really obscure. Like if you guys don't know it, it's a hard question. So if you guys figure it out, let me know. But I mean, it is technically a remix of Carol of the Bells, but what exactly? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and watch some more.
Warcraft 3 Easter eggs.
I don't think there are any Easter eggs in it, so I won't be looking at that. Well, it seems that I was wrong. There are some Easter eggs in Rexar's campaign.
I think those portals colors had some kind of significance.
Warcraft 3 Easter eggs. Today we're going to be looking at the final campaign.
I look so awkward.
Duratar, as well as the demo level
and heavy.
Of the Horde.
I lost like 35 pounds I think since then. Not my favorite picture of Rexar. It looks kind of weird, but it's all I could find to match the other opening intros.
The founding of Duratar is a notably unique.
I like this campaign a lot better than I did when I made this video. Like it is just amazing. I love it.
Up to level 15 and all of their abilities up to level 4. They constantly find artifacts that would normally be utterly overpowered in any normal game, and the enemies you fight are unending. It was these unique elements that first led me to believe that there weren't any Easter eggs in the game's maps. Since units and abilities that can clear debris and spy from afar were scarce, I assumed that the emphasis was on a more serious campaign and less on secrets. I was wrong. This mistake was also
that's actually an Easter egg that I later forgot about, so that was kind of funny.
It was a long time ago, and I only did it once. It was fun, but since the story wasn't directly connected to the other campaigns, and since Rexar was never one of my favorite characters, this campaign was sort of left on the back burner for me whenever I played the Frozen Throne. This is similar to the way I felt about the bonus.
Yeah, you like that intro, Mandalorian? I just love.
So they fit together.
I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's such a good show.
Let me just rant about one thing real quick off the bat, and then on to the secrets. Blue? Why are Rexar and his companions team colored?
I get it. Like now I get it. It's like just to make them stand out, but I still like it. It's just so important, I think, to have like nation colors and stuff.
It should be the color they would put on a flag if they personally had one. I know that.
Like I hate how the elves are blue. They would never be blue. They'd probably be red or green. That's me.
The way each nation and clan was named in color.
On my
I
8th
memorized
birthday, when
every
I
one of
got
them,
the
from Black Gilneas and
Warcraft
Red
2
Strongguard to the Purple
battle
Twilight's
chest.
Hammer and White Dragonmaw clans.
Still
I
can't believe my
remember
mom
seeing
got
orange
this
human ships
game
in
for me
the
for my
Battle of Darrow and realizing
8th
immediately
birthday.
that Alterac had betrayed the Alliance. I've always been bothered at other misuses of color in Warcraft.
I really hope they change Night Elves to teal. If you notice on the the Warcraft 3 Reforged website, the Night Elves are clearly teal, and so I hope they change that because it just fits better.
Why
Like,
is Illidan green in this map when he's
the
on
Alliance
his
is
own,
the
and
blue
yet
one, you know?
when
Like,
he's on his own in this map,
anyway, well, I guess
purple
we'll
when he
find
faces
out.
Arthas? I've always viewed player color as anything but subtle, and to me it's always been significant to the storyline. It was immediately apparent to me, for example, that the humans encroaching on the lands are from Kul'Tiras because of their green color, even before Rexxar found the shield.
One funny thing about Warcraft 2 that I'm remembering as I play it is I pronounced everything different when I was a kid, because, you know, they didn't often pronounce it in the actual game, and so, like my brother and I called it Kul'Tiras or something. What did we call it? Oh, Kul'Tiras, that's what we called it. Kul'Tiras, Dalaran instead of Dalaran. What else did we call stuff?
In the Orgrimmar Tunnels map, use a few of Gazlo's Goblin Sappers to blow up the red mushroom.
Gilneas. We called it Gilneas.
Reveal some claws of attack +6.
Funny stuff.
There's also a ring of
and years later they're like, Gilneas. And I'm like, oh, okay.
In the Beast Den, this interspatial tunnel.
Man, I want to play this again. I just love how you can go into the different maps. It'd be so fun to make a campaign like that, but I still, after all this time, have no idea how they made this. I'll have to look deeper or something, because...
I am a bit confused about the
more proof that they are reforging this is,
would it have been that hard
it'd be weird to use the Phoenix models for this. Anyway, they have, like, Drekthar and, you know, those guys, and so they've got a lot of new models for the Rexxar campaign.
I have an urgent mission for you, Rexxar. That human fleet poses a serious
Yeah, they must have added him later, because he just ignores him. He's just like, oh no.
It's kind of funny how everyone just seems to give little attention to the other heroes besides Rexxar. Even Rexxar himself.
It's like Final Fantasy when all the heroes go into one and explore the map or whatever.
I guess it's the equivalent of the NPCs on
I
the
wander
Diablo
alone.
regarding your followers. On the Old Hatred's overworld map are a few lines of unused dialogue.
Haven't reached their MO yet? You'd best
That's, that's Chris Metzen's voice.
Soon. Our ogre friend be recovering swiftly, Rexxar, but I thought you were heading out to his village. You'd best be hurrying. I've secured the first component, but I've got to hurry. Get the others.
You got to hurry,
Time
man.
is running out. That's
There
it.
is no
I've
time
got
that runs
all.
out.
I
should
better
be,
get
but
these back to Thrall quickly.
They all seem to indicate some sort of timer that used to be part of these quests. Because of the open world nature of these levels, the devs probably thought it best to
Yeah,
let the
that's
player go
true.
at their own
This
pace
game is
as
basically the
possible.
precursor of WoW.
There's also a hidden area you can
Hey, maybe
access
they'll
by
even, like,
seeking to
change,
retrieve
like,
this
the
up.
interface
The
or
Eldritch
something.
Deathlord is a foe to be
That'd be
reckoned
kind of
with,
cool
but it
if
drops
they
the shield
edited
of the
that
Deathlord,
for
which is really
Rexxar.
bad. Also, the Captain Thornby
I don't know if
in
they
this
will,
game
but
could be the same person as the villager
I mean, it's
who
such an
joined Arthas in
RPG
the
rather
first
than a
human campaign.
We'll fight for Lordaeron. Get your swords.
On the
strategy
coastal
map.
base level,
Who
which
knows?
is a really silly one in my opinion, a blade master setting up explosives? A stealth level would have been fun, but this one didn't make much sense. Explosive wards filled with an unstable concoction, my eye. Those are very clearly barrels of gunpowder. The exact same ones the dwarves brought with them and stupidly set up near
Yeah,
their
Samura
key
says something
I
like,
think the developers realized that they had never really
I
given a
have
chance
unstable
to use
concoctions
Hellscream's
filled with
abilities
explosive
in the invasion
wards.
of Kalimdor, so Samuro
they're
was
just,
their
it's just gunpowder,
Anyway, on
man.
this level, you can get a +5 Crown of Kings if you destroy the Altar of Kings. Oh, I get it. Kings and kings. Yeah. Other than that, I found it interesting on this map that the Wildkins live in tents.
The owlbears look
whereas the
weird
Barons
on
live in
Reforged.
nests. It looks like this trigger here was used as a sort of palette of dialogues that the map developers
They are just
pulled from to
weird
use in
looking.
various quests. Most of the quests.
I mean, I guess they
are
kind of fit their
empty,
WoW
except for the
counterpart, but
quest
they
Human
just,
Survivors.
it's such
It
a
has
big
some
difference,
unused
it's
lines of
weird.
dialogue.
More surface dwellers. Destroy them.
Destroy them.
Intruders. Slaughter them before they escape. Strange. I don't see any human bodies strewn around.
Yes, but these tracks lead out to sea. Look there. That tiny island. Well, we won't find any answers waiting around here.
It's weird to hear the old
All the
Jaina
humans
voice.
are
I'm
dead
used
in
to
the Nagas
Laura
lair,
Bailey
these
doing
lines
her
by
voice,
Rexar and
but
Jaina indicate that perhaps originally there
yeah,
were some
it's
survivors.
quite different
and there's
back
no sign
then.
of any tiny island on the map anymore either. Moving on to Theramore Isle, if you break open these eagle cages to release some hawks, yeah, I don't really. You can use the hawks
That's
to
pretty
explore
funny.
over here to the west, where you'll catch a glimpse of little Timmy and his mom Alicia from the first level of the Scourge of Lordaeron. As I said before, I'm not sure where his brothers went. He had like 5 of them, but they clearly made it safely out of Lordaeron.
How sad.
There's also a
He's the
cloak
only
of flames
survivor.
by the fountain in the northeast corner. You can access it by boat and pick it up by dropping one of your heroes just barely on the edge. I really admire this level, both the look
Yeah,
of it
see,
and
that's
the
a Hydromancer, I
disguise
think.
of
They used
yourself
just
on
like the
transport
dark
ship to open the harbor
wizard
gates
or
and sell the
something as the
dungeon
model,
layout
but now he has his own
where
model.
each
It
action
looks really cool.
requires several more before it to accomplish, all while making use of as much of the small map space as possible. Now on to the post-Theramore areas. I don't think I went into hardly any of these my first time through the campaign.
The
years
Chaplain
ago,
is one
but
of
they're
my
all really
favorite
beautifully designed and
Reforged
come with
units too.
valuable
Oh, look at this map!
If you
It's
haven't played this campaign
that looks
yet,
so
make sure
cool
to
with
seek
like
out
those
and enter all of the
shelves
sub-areas
of
you can. Your experience
stone
playing the campaign
tablets
will
and
be much
stuff.
more
Like I
fulfilling
think
and speedy
I think
than
David
story.
Fried said that
There's
Tim
an
Campbell did
interesting
most
trigger
of
on
this
the
by
sub-areas.
himself
And
because
each
Blizzard didn't
Playmaster
want to make a
uses
horde
placeholder to
campaign.
hold the items
So he
in
just
the
like,
rest
I
of the
think
set.
he just
The
went
trigger
crazy and
immediately
designed
hides
everything
it.
himself.
So
He
even though
was
you don't see
really
them there by
good
the resurrection
at
stone,
making these
it's
maps.
there, watching. In the Magistrate's Temple, break some of these
And they all have
rocks
such
off the
cool
path
names.
to
Like
the
it sounds like
black
dungeons
market
from
and
WoW, you
sell
know?
items
Magistrate's
display. Farther
Temple,
north, you can
Beast
find 1,000
Den.
gold coins hidden in the waterfall. There's some
Super
more
fun.
gold down in the southwest area, along with some tomes. It's an impressively hidden area you can access by rooting through some tall grass. There's nothing secret in Dustwallow Marsh except for the stream you can climb up, which is a bit obvious. But as a map maker, I wondered for the longest time what the heck these geyser doodads were. Had there been an imported doodad?
Yep.
A doodad added to the Frozen Throne that I just had never stumbled upon in the World Editor?
It's
Nope.
a fountain.
Digging through the unidentified map files in the MPQ is worth it to find out that these are actually giant fountains under the ground.
Well played.
There's
Well
also
played,
nothing
Tim
in the Den
Campbell.
of the Lost, the Outland Arena, or surprisingly, Mulgore. I'm a bit suspicious about the storyline in Mulgore.
That doesn't
The
look
Spirit
like
Walker,
Mulgore,
Moving
but
Wind Totem doesn't say any story-specific lines.
actually they
His
did a
lines
pretty
are
good job
normal
with
lines
Mulgore
that
because it
normal
looks like
Spirit
a
Walkers say
really
when they
grassy
come
part of the
around us.
Barrens.
The way Rexar just magically interprets Bovan's
Yeah, this
cryptic
part's
brief
weird.
lines and how the Tauren is completely silent for the rest of the level makes me wonder if Blizzard had some kind of scheduling problem with the voice actor for Spirit Walkers and just had to make do with the
Bane
lines they
is
had.
going to have his
Final
own
map,
model
Titan
on
Fear
Reforged.
Pro,
He
you
doesn't
can take
yet,
a
so I haven't
transport off
seen
the
it,
eastern
but I
shore to
know
the
there's a
island farther
placeholder
north.
for it, so
There's
that'll
a
be pretty
goblin
cool.
merchant called Whizbang's Island treasure shopping.
I wonder if he'll have like
as well
that
as an
big
extra
headdress
island
and
with another
stuff too.
Kulturas base you can destroy. This map also has some unused dialogue.
You've got to hurry, Rexar. I want our standard flying high when we meet the humans head on.
Along with it, the trigger contains some commentary still remaining from the level's designers. It states, "I don't think we'll use this line. It implies time pressure, but there are really no time constraints."
This is so fun to
Also,
see these
Thrall
comments
likely
now that I have like
will
a
move the base, and
like
then
I have a
the
tech
trigger
job, and
carries
it's fun to
the
see
weapons.
like these
This
remnants
seems to
of,
confirm my theory
you know,
about the other lines
discussions
as well.
all the way
Timers
back
just
then
ended
of
up
them
not
being
having
like, you
place
know,
in the
maybe we
game,
better
so
not use
several
these
of
lines.
have been cut. Along with this line, there are a few of Rexar basically urging on the Horde to keep fighting. And now for the shortest yet most action-packed act, A Blaze of Glory. On the first map, there are 4 instances of the only item ever to have fit the treasure chest item model accurately, pirate booty. One of them is on the northern coast of the main larger island, another is on the small island to the far east, and 2 are found on the island that covers the northwest.
I wish there were more
corner.
models for
Each will give you
items on
600
Reforged.
gold.
That's one
I
thing
usually don't
that
bother
like I
mentioning
do
items
like to
found in
import
debris, but
custom
this
models
barely
for
will give you
is
Blizzard
items because there's
missions,
just not
which
very
reveals
many
the
and
entire
it's
map. The final Easter
like
egg is probably
there's
the
some
most
cool
amusing
stuff
one.
that
At Theramore
like
City,
keys, you
you
know,
can
like
see
I
a
wish
few
there was a
gold
key
coins on an island
model
off the
and
shore, but you don't have a boat to access it, and there aren't any shipyards on the map, so they're impossible to reach.
all right, that's that map. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Of course, it's possible to reach.
I think I
You can
actually
resort
fooled
to
some
our
people
friend
on this
Blink
video,
to get
so I don't know
to
if
the
they
magic
finished the whole
rings and
video.
things
It's
on the
kind of
east
funny.
side of the city and buy Kellen's Dagger of Escape. Here's a fun fact real quick. Kellen was David Fried's Dungeons & Dragons character he played with the other members of Blizzard back in the day. He put this character's name into this item as well as 2 random
And now
characters.
there's a hero in Reforged called Kellen the Seeker, and he's, yeah, that's him, but he's a high elf archmage, which is really cool.
was well known for his ability to slip away from any pursuit and find his way out of even the most escape-proof traps.
I think that's
Only
so
upon
cool.
his death
Again,
did
like
the world
David
learn
had
that
no,
secret
like he
was
just
really
threw
the
that in
glass
there.
sheath dagger he carried, at least according to
Or maybe he helped design that item or something, but
have you guys ever
it
looked
was
at
his
these? Blizzard says
D&D
they're non-canonical,
item, and
but I
now
love
it's
the directions
canon.
they took with the lore in them. Anyway,
Those are
right,
great.
hard to reach gold coins. Use the dagger to blink across the water, and you'll find a whole bunch
That's
of coins.
what first
leading
got
to
me
the
into
bling
D&D,
ring.
actually, was
This
the
item will give you
Warcraft
25 gold
role-playing
every time you
game.
click it, and has a
Even though
5-second
I've never actually played
Obviously
it after all this time.
worthless at this point in the game, but it's one of the most fun and creative items in all the
But that's my dream, is to
I wanna
someday
end by
play
saying
a
I'm slightly disappointed in Rokan's old
a Warcraft setting
Not as a
D&D
fact,
campaign. I think
changing
that'd be
Big
so
Bad
much
Voodoo to
fun.
Voodoo Spirits was a good idea for the fun of the campaign. But why couldn't they have changed the models of the Locusts to something more voodoo, like this? Or this? I mean,
That
don't
would
they
be
look way more
sweet.
like
They
voodoo
should have done
spirits? It's
that.
certainly less
I
crippled
wonder if they'll
than
change it to a
Rokan's
unique
story.
ability on Reforged. I don't see why not.
It's possible that some of you have never.
Maybe they'll even
realized
make a
there's
new
bonus
icon for it.
campaign
That would
in
be pretty
Warcraft
cool.
3. It consists of 3 additional levels that continue the exodus of the Horde campaign, taking place after Thrall and Grom set sail for Kalimdor and explaining how the Dark.
Oh, how did they do the Castle of 5 Towers? I think they just increased the size of the castle, but not the pathing, and so it took up the same amount of space. It just looked bigger, and then they just put towers like really close to it, so it looked like it was one model. Pretty cool, actually. Like pretty good.
My friend Kostya,
pretty smart.
the
It looked
Hive
really cool.
Workshop, recompiled the campaign to be compatible with the current version of Warcraft 3 while keeping the voiceovers. You can find a link to it in the description below. It stars Tyrande as the voice.
What time period?
The air you breathe now will be your last.
They've got to have a new Sea Witch.
Very basic, mainly
Well, I guess they could just use the Naga Sea Witch, but I don't know. They probably, if they do remaster that, they probably have a better model for that. Anyway, this RPG takes place right after Warcraft 3, which I think is pretty cool. I think that would be fun. Or during Warcraft 3, maybe, like if you played as Arthas. I don't know. That'd be. You wouldn't really have much of like a choice. So.
Since descriptions are generally supposed to be short, it makes sense why they changed this, though they apparently thought the lore behind the ingredients was completely unnecessary, since they didn't even bother to put the longer descriptions into the tooltip itself. The fires down below has a fun layout, but its only secret is this potion of mana.
Is he the one who has a unique model? Vol'jin? Sen'jin? I can't remember. One of them has a unique model. These silly towers.
A hidden tent down in the
That would be really cool if they made models for like a Murloc race, because those were pretty silly.
Kings and a scroll of restoration. If you haven't played this campaign yet, I encourage you to. It's definitely forgettable for the most part, but it's creative in its own way and has some fun parts. Though the fact that they showed cool Taras sailors wearing blue instead of
Oh, seriously, just make them dark green. It's not that hard. Just make them dark green if they're cool
Before you go,
Taras.
remember that I'm going to be making one last video to showcase all the Easter eggs I've missed in this series. If you noticed anything I overlooked or saw something you're curious about, make sure to tell me in the comments of that particular video.
Thank you guys as well for doing that, because I found so much thanks to the help from like you guys pointing things out that I completely missed. So yeah, I'm glad that those were able to be made. I made mistakes in the beginning, but oh well, eventually I got them all covered. Okay, so just finishing up, what time period would I set a Warcraft RPG campaign in? That's what I was saying, it's like, this one even has like tables and stuff for how people reacted to the war in Warcraft 3, you know, like it talks about how you might meet NPCs that are like, that have like PTSD, or they wish the war was still going because they're still like burning Legion agents out there or something, so that would be pretty fun. And yes, you're right, it's not canon, but I really like the monster manual for Warcraft because it talks about some of the ecology of like, you know, stormworms and like how many, you know, how they live, like what they eat, that sort of thing, and so those are pretty fun to look at, and even though they're not strictly canon, they may as well be, you know, because that sort of stuff hasn't been ever revealed before. I know, one more video, yeah. There's 2 more. So many different, like... I always hated making, like, 2-part videos, but there's so much, and I didn't want to make, like, a 40-minute video, so... What are your favorite colors to use for each race in Warcraft 3? That's a pretty good question. Orange is pretty fun. Like for orcs. Like I like playing as the Burning Blade clan. I really like the new emerald color. I think that's what it's called. That sort of deeper green. I think that looks really nice. Some of the new colors are awful. Like there's like straight up like bright hot pink magenta that looks bad and stuff. But like the wheat color looks really cool. It looks kind of like a golden player color. Anyway, I think orange is good. Yellow is good. Teal, light blue. I'm not really sure like which race for which. I think I just kind of choose those 4 colors for any of them. The first war and second war is super interesting for an RPG. You'd think so, but those were like really army based, you know, like, and strictly because they were strategy games, you know, like it was all about the armies marching against each other. That's why World of Warcraft was more RPG based, because it's like this is when the citizens of Azeroth like kind of went off on their own and they had their own adventures and stuff. So that's why that was kind of a good time for that. But I guess there are some cool moments in the first and second war that could be fun, like maybe trying to assassinate Gul'dan, or I don't know, just the places in Warcraft 3 would be fun to adapt to D&D. Have I played Breath of the Wild? No, I have not. I'm not a console gamer. I didn't really grow up with consoles beyond like a Nintendo 64. We have a Nintendo 64, but that's all we really have right now, my wife and me. And yeah, Breath of the Wild, I've watched it a little bit, but honestly, I don't really like it that much. It doesn't seem as good as the other ones. I really like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I also like the old ones like Link to the Past and Minish Cap and stuff. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what I don't like about it. Something. Addendum of addendum before Reforged and its addendums. I probably should, huh? There's still some stuff before I forgot. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Lixillian. That's one of my things that I love. To hear from you guys, and like comments and emails and stuff. I just love hearing people say like, you rekindled my love for Warcraft, or I never knew that. I appreciate it so much more. Like that was my goal with these videos. Like I just wanted people to know about how much work was put into these, and like, you know, they put these Easter eggs in and stuff. And so I'm really glad that like when people are just like, you know, I've been playing Warcraft 2. Thanks for reigniting the nostalgia or whatever. You're welcome, and thanks for that. All right, one more. Carbot animations. Yeah, I like Carbot. He's hilarious. I really like the Heroes of the Storm one. Those are hilarious. Hero Storm, I think, is what they're called. I think his biggest one is StarCraft, and I've never been that into StarCraft, and at least compared to the other games, and so I don't really get it very much. But Hero Storm is really funny. Maybe he'll do Warcraft 3 ones when Warcraft 3 Reforged comes out. Who knows? But anyway, the my favorite Carbot animation is the one with the Punisher. I think it's called Punisher or whatever. Anyway, you should watch it. It's hilarious. Alright, cool. Let's watch 2 more. The 2 addendum videos, and then I don't think there's time to go beyond that, so we'll just...
Hello everyone, I'm Abel Hawk. Welcome to this addendum to Warcraft 3.
So fat.
I missed a lot of secrets my first time through, so in this video I'll be looking at all the Easter eggs.
Glad I've moved beyond that.
I want to personally thank all of you who pointed out Easter eggs.
Alright, get on with it.
Let's get right into it. On chasing visions, I realized that stone golems aren't found in the creep list normally. Just mud,
my voice is kind of whispery. I wonder if I was like trying not to wake my wife up when I was recording it or something.
Likely to make it fit into a suitable difficulty level between that of the other.
Or my kids, I guess. Maybe I was recording it late at night.
In a graveyard overlooking the internment camps that you can see with Thrall's Farsight ability. As a fun fact, I'm pretty sure this internment camp is what is later the town of Hammerfall in World of Warcraft. It would have been cool if they'd kept the mysterious inn and graveyard in WoW as a tribute.
I think that's a band
although
name
Hammerfall
too,
doesn't
and I'm
have a
pretty
bay
sure
where you could have
Samwise
smelled, so
named
it's
it
probably
after
not
that.
accurate in the slightest anyway. This time through, I looked more closely at the trigger on each map for comments. Though comments are peppered throughout the levels, I found this one particularly interesting. These names refer to Graham Mataraz and Michael Heiberg, who both did programming on Warcraft 3. It was interesting to see communication between the various people who worked on each level and on the game's code itself. More importantly, though, I hope this can help us all realize that Blizzard isn't just some sort of single entity that gave birth to this game. It was the work of hundreds of individuals who put it together piece by piece. They even had to put things together like triggers, and this comment shows that even the resources needed to make the maps in the first place weren't all done at once. Because these levels are meant to instruct the player how to play, there were several other comments that gave feedback to the level designers in making the triggers easier or more intuitive to new players, which was kind of interesting. And here are the more notably
I guess I
intriguing
shouldn't
and
make.
funny comments I found throughout
I
the
guess I
entire
shouldn't
series.
shame
I'm not gonna
myself
read them all,
for
but you're free
being
to
fat.
pause the
Like,
video now and read them if you wish.
that's just. I just knew that I was letting myself go at that point. Like I was just like, I'll just eat whatever I want back then. So I guess I'm mostly just glad that I am healthy. You know, like that's. Anyway.
For instance, there were apparently originally some footmen fighting a bandit right here in the road who would join you after you helped them. Since the official strategy guide was made concurrently with the game so that it could be published at the time of the game's release, there were quite a few changes that were never taken out of the guide, and some that show the earlier drafts of how things like dialogue were before the game's release. There are several small instances of these secrets throughout the game, but if I ever bring up a bigger one that I found in the strategy guide, this icon will appear in the corner to let you know. On Black Rock and Roll, there were already so many secret areas that I didn't look even more closely and notice these murlocs hanging out behind these trees. They're accessible in-game by cutting down the trees here and squeezing through this choke point. They don't drop anything. They're purely a secret for Easter egg hunters like us to find. There are also these initials over on this hill that are only visible through
Tim
the map.
Campbell.
TC stands for Tim Campbell, the level designer.
He was hard to find
Also,
pictures of.
originally,
I
the
guess
world
he's
was
camera
wired
shy or
with
something, because
12
that was the only one I
tabs
could
plus
find, and it
5.
was like
I know.
him in the middle of a bunch of
Strategy guide
people
seems to
just.
suggest that at one point you could control Uther as well as Arthas. He does have his own sound set,
My church is the field of battle.
so I wouldn't be surprised. But the level's easy enough that you definitely don't need him, and having two of the same hero with the same abilities and everything would be
My
boring.
church
I
is
decided
the
to look
field
through
of
the
battle.
interludes a bit more closely this time around, since I largely ignored them before. I didn't find too much interesting in them, but occasionally I'd find sounds that were loaded into the sound editor but never used. For example, in Jaina's meeting, there are some sounds of a hippogriff queued up. But I can't imagine what they would have been.
Oh yeah, I dig really deep on those videos. Like there's some weird stuff that maybe I shouldn't have even bothered talking about. Like that's weird.
Originally, we may never know. The level that is single-handedly responsible for my first video's thousands of views is, of course, the Cult of the Damned, with its strange hidden storyline of Jaina dying. I'm not entirely sure what all the sound files mean, but I did find out that originally
Yeah, I think that Jaina
Jaina
dying thing
and she was actually
may have been like one of the number one reasons why people came to my channel, because somebody shared that on Reddit or something, and it just exploded after that, and everybody in the comments was talking about Jaina being a dreadlord or whatever.
The scourge in the bottom right corner of Hearthglen. This building here isn't a doodad like the others. It's a destructible unit. Once you knock it down,
Hearthglen building.
Inside the crate is a sheep, and inside the sheep is a potion of restoration.
Inside the sheep.
We doubt that I'll ever catch
That's
every
pretty
Easter
funny.
egg. That is some sneaky work to hide that item. The culling has a couple of unused triggers and sound effects that I found soon after I finished the first Easter egg video, and was one of the first signs that I hadn't been a careful enough Easter egg hunter my first time through. Originally, the developer of this map, David Freed, had men, women,
Now
and
I'm saying
children
it
come out of the
correctly.
buildings when he destroyed them, saying things like,
The roof is collapsing. Run!
screw it, I'm too lazy to use talking portraits anymore. Sorry, you'll have to settle for just interface icons.
I got so tired of that. I got so tired of making him go whoop, or appearing or whatever.
Kings of men are attacking. Run for your lives. The walls are falling in. Get out. Mercy of the Lord.
This was deemed as disturbing and going too far with Arthas' slaughter, so eventually a compromise was reached where women and men would come out, but no plagued children, and the sounds were done away with entirely. As a fun fact on this map, originally
So
the villagers who
interesting.
came out of the buildings were hostile to the player, but they were changed to neutral so that you had to physically make the decision to either wait for them to turn to zombies and kill them, or to slaughter the townsfolk before they could change.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it
the
never
latter
occurred to
option
me
is
to
more
wait.
tactically advantageous, but it gets a feel for how Arthas feels slaughtering his own people to save them. Unless you find it fun to kill the villagers.
That's really
throughout the
smart,
preceding levels anyway.
story-wise.
On Dissension, I completely overlooked the very first instance of the game's first Pandaren Easter egg. One is hiding in the trees right after you fight the blue dragon.
I forgot that Pandaren, and then there's also another Pandaren, I think, and it was like on the second northern map. Let me see if I can see it.
Well, technically. Lastly, I'm not sure if anyone else finds this trigger interesting.
No, it was on a different level, but I noticed it on one of David Fried's videos as he played it through like as a walkthrough. He found one and I was like, whoops, completely missed that one.
Where a bunch of monks of reincarnation spawn around Mal'Ganis.
Oh, the chef Arthas thing. Oh man, that was funny. I saw that a few days ago. So funny.
It doesn't drop anything when killed, so it's likely either a joke.
It's so funny that the culling became a meme like that. Just, I don't know how that happened, but it was hilarious.
And it's clear that he liked to hide secrets and names of characters. In this case, the 3 paladins were named after real people. Edward King was a Warcraft 3 quality assurance analyst. Nicholas Buzan is named after one of David's friends, and Gregory Edmondson is named after his girlfriend's stepfather. The villagers also have specific names, which likely had significance. Ai and Kenshin are clearly from animes. Also, there's one unused dialogue line from Tichondrius.
Where are the necromancer's remains? Retrieve them immediately.
This resembles some of the unused lines on the founding of Durotar concerning an original time limit mechanic.
No, I think in that case it was actually...
So maybe originally this initial march to Kel'Thuzad's tomb was laid out differently.
Right, because you can't go to Tichondrius without his remains.
It's inaccessible and completely abandoned, so I'm guessing maybe it's an unused creep location.
Yeah, they probably meant to make that a tunnel or something.
That's not an elf. You can't use the same model as both an elf prisoner and a human.
Yeah, that's dumb. They should have done like just the night elf priest, you know? That was kind of disappointing.
I knew that on the Fall of Silvermoon you could use banshees to possess the elven workers and build up your own human base. However, I didn't realize that there was a specific missing safeguard that could make this approach really overpowered.
Oh,
Normal
yeah.
melee maps limit the number of the heroes you can train, but since that trigger isn't run on this map, you can train as many human heroes from an Altar of Kings as you want, so long as you build up a human castle and have enough resources. This can make for a very odd but effective approach to wiping out Silvermoon.
That's ridiculous.
I overlooked a sneaky Murloc Nightcrawler hiding behind these trees near the North River Bridge.
Oh, that's pretty cool, because you wouldn't see him at night either, so very secretive.
We have many secrets.
No, you don't, Kieran Tormage. You really don't.
Sadly, no. At least that I could find. I hope that they add some.
The first level, Landfall, has a couple of unused lines of dialogue. There seem to be a lot of these, so I'm just going to call them ULDs from now on.
I probably should have done that
The lines are from grunts, and one of them was deleted.
I think I just said that.
Dang it. But the other says,
Pillage the town! Burn it to the ground!
This sound file, along with some unused custom elven units in the editor, suggests that a high elven town or camp was originally encountered as a
I should make a list of all the unused lines of dialogue, because those might be useful for custom maps and stuff.
Specific Tauren unit, presumably as part of the final fight against the Centaur, a Tauren war.
I mean, I guess they're all in the dialogue file.
I also never noticed that the Tauren that you join in the camp are Tauren Youngbloods. They're slightly smaller and have a fraction of the hit points of the Tauren, probably to make the fight a bit harder for you. Still nothing too interesting on the long march, except originally Cairn and his Tauren would turn on you if you attacked him, but now he just takes it with bull-headed silence. I thought it was weird on the wreckage of Lordaeron interlude that Tichondrius says that the orcs are all
I tell you, when making a video, there's nothing more inconvenient than having to re-record dialogue. I hate it, and so sometimes you'll hear me like my voice skip because I just put 2 sound files together instead of just not being lazy and recording it again, so that's pretty fun.
Around with the Red Dragon unit files on this map. I wonder if the demon's strength was originally going to be demonstrated against dragons in an earlier draft of this interlude. Let's see, nothing on Cry of the War Song, nothing on Spirits of Ashenvale, except the peons are programmed to attack trees a little bit faster than normal. Nothing on the Blood of Manaroth interlude, nothing on the Hundred of Shadows. There's an interesting secret hidden in the map files for Where Wyverns Dare. The Orc Warlock unit, which isn't used in
I hope they keep their names as Wyverns instead of Wind Riders. I mean, I guess...
The nickname of developer Dave Hale.
Actually, I mean, I don't know. I just like the sound of the word wyvern better, but then again, they are kind of a unique, like, creature for Warcraft.
Had my favorite board game on his mind when he made that.
Oh yeah, Talisman. That was a fun board game.
Unit on By Demons Be Driven. a troll witch doctor named Miljansa. He had the sleep ability swapped out for the sentry ward ability, but besides that and different coloring, he wasn't any different from a normal witch doctor. I have no idea what his original purpose was, but if I had to guess, I'd speculate that he was just some sort of narrator NPC who told you about the purging process for curing Grom or something. Kind of like how Senjin knew how to purge the corrupted fountain on the demo campaign. We'll probably never know, though. Also, I normally wouldn't showcase a fan-made campaign, but I think it's notable that in Razorclaw X's Wanderers of Sorceria, the same randomizer is used for the Magic Vault in Book 2, Level 2.
That's one campaign that I have tried out, and it was a little too weird for me and creepy, if you've noticed. You know, that creepy custom skin or whatever, but it was pretty cool. Like, I don't know, maybe I should give it another chance.
Let's talk about Chandra's Feathermoon for a moment. She's kind of an oddity in the game. In the first level, she's depicted as just another archer, but by the second level, she has her own ranger model, similar to Sylvanas.
See, they look better in teal.
I originally figured that this
I hope that they do that in teal, because it just looks better.
Leadership position among the Sentinels. But look, in Enemies at the Gates map file, she's her ranger model. A weird trigger changes her into an archer before the cinematic starts, which is why you see her like this. I cannot for the life of me figure out
that is so weird to me.
Why couldn't she just be her original model in level 1, even just for the cinematic? This is definitely one of the more baffling Easter eggs in the game.
Still don't know the answer to that one.
In Daughters of the Moon, I never noticed that there's a shortcut along the east side of the undead camp. Simply knock down these trees by the fountain and there's a clearly cut path down to the Night Elf village. A handy secret for anyone attempting a Warcraft 3 speedrun. In the Awakening of Stormrage, there's a broken ULD called Whelp Dragon 24, which is probably a remnant of the scrapped Tharfos quest.
Oh, interesting.
Clearly the quest had something to do with Tharfos and some green dragon whelps. Taronda also has 10 ULDs that are broken sound files. I really wish we could know what she said. They're probably related to the Tharfos quest as well. If any more Warcraft 3 developers are watching, let me know if you can make all the original dialogue files public, please. I'll pay you. Brothers in Blood is another level that was so chock full of secrets I ended too early thinking I'd found them all. There's an awesome secret found if Furion keeps going after killing the sludge monstrosity. Go to the
sludge monstrosities look so nasty and reforged. I really like the direction they took with them.
They can use this waygate to teleport back
They're
to
like
Furion's area of the
gross.
cavern. Having their forces on your side is honestly a bit overkill for how easy this scenario is, but I was really impressed with this Easter egg. Also, the biggest panda ever has an encounter similar to the Infernal in the Terror of the Tides campaign. Depending on who encounters it first, different things are said.
One shot, one kill. Come and get it.
How about if I just stand over here?
Don't! Elune, give me strength.
Our sins have returned to haunt us.
I think Furion's in particular is interesting if you think about his line's implications too hard, but obviously whatever sins the Night Elves did to incur the wrath of pandas is non-canonical. I hope. Also, there were originally some frost traps that came out of these statues. This is how they worked. They only did 10 damage, which is pretty lame. It's just as well they took them out of the game if they were that insignificant of a threat. I wish we knew more about
Kind of cool with those
Watcher
filters, though.
Maiev
I'm
is an
impressed.
interesting character,
I
but
wonder
I'd
what they're
like
going to do with
know
those
about
owlbear
bears
things.
work
like,
for them in this Keeper
I mean,
of
is
the
that
Road.
canonical that the
Also,
Watchers
something more
had
Paladin's level, but still
pet
basically
owlbears or
nothing. There is no
moonkins or
new
something?
interface
like,
icon for the item
it's going to be
version
really
of
interesting to
Skull
see if they have a
Considering
unique
how big the
model
Skull
on
Gul'dan is on cinematics and Blizzard art,
Reforged.
I really don't get what this thing is supposed to be. Gul'dan was not a giant, so I've always assumed that this was supposed to be all symbolic for some reason. In reality, the original plan was to have Illidan find and pick up the skull of Gul'dan and then bring it to
Oh
some
man,
place
was
to
that as
perform the
choppy
ritual,
as...
consuming its power, but it was simplified greatly to the level we played today.
Should have
Also, here's a
re-recorded
fun
that,
fact.
but
Chris
probably too
Metzen
lazy.
originally conceived Illidan as a satyr in the storyline. It makes sense when you think about how satyrs are night elves corrupted by fell magic.
Oh, how did
Riders
I
of
find the
Warcraft
peon
are
attacking the
like
tree
it as a summon
faster?
to
So
pen
this time going through all the
so
Easter eggs, I looked really close on all the maps. I looked at all the triggers closely, and I looked at all the units to see if they had been modified in any way, and peons were had been changed to attack trees faster, probably because the whole level revolved around harvesting lumber. And it wasn't a lot, but yeah, kind of interesting.
Skimped on Easter eggs on the last level.
Yeah, the warlocks are used on Black Rock and Roll, and the fell ones are used on the one where you drink Manaralth's blood. But yeah, the green ones are only on Black Rock and Roll.
If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of a child dying.
Listen closely.
That's right. The target points for Thrall's Chain Lightning on Archimonde are invisible units named, you guessed it, Little Timmy. The actual chain lightning bouncing off.
No, I
Archimedes'
mean,
shoulders,
David
whatever,
was just
the
a
clever
former
cinematic
developer
trick
of the
made
map
thinking that
editors.
made
Like,
one
to
of
get the
these
sound
basically
files, it's
changing
probably
models,
like
something
whoever
that they just
archived them or like recorded them in the first place. I knew it was kind of pointless to ask, but
Most people don't know there was actually a level that was going to come after Night Elf 7, where it ended up being almost a 2-hour mission. And the more we played it, the more we realized that you got done with this mission where you don't want to go into this big slugfest of a mission. So rather than keep it, we actually cut the last mission for the game and then peeled back and made Night Elf 7 the final mission.
The strategy guide calls this level
Kinda cool.
Archimon's Ascent, so perhaps the name Twilight of the Gods was originally given to a level involving positioning the wisps or otherwise setting up the trap for Archimon yourself.
But yeah, the
Like
Skull of
Roberto said in
Gul'dan,
the clip, though, that
I
would
don't know.
obviously
I hope that they kind of make that a little more clear.
Ooh, I missed more secrets than I thought. I need to take a break. This episode's going to have to...
One of my more favorite endings, right up there next to the one where you run out of tokens. That was fun. All right. Anything else before we watch? Let's see. How long is this next one? 13 minutes. Yeah, I think we have time for probably one more or so. I don't know. I don't want to keep my wife with the kids all day, so let me see here though. Addendum. Yeah, probably don't have time for the models videos today, but that's okay. Yeah, so what questions do you guys have? Anything else? Yeah, so he died, Gul'dan died in the sunken temple, and then one of the orcs that assaulted the sunken temple or something found his skull and kept it as a trophy, and then it ended up on Draenor because on Beyond the Dark Portal you have to grab it, not like literally, but like you have to, in the briefings they talk about the Skull of Gul'dan, and it's used to destroy the Dark Portal or something. And then Tichondrius has it or something, and he plants it in Felwood. Anyway, it's kind of weird. The unknown final level details almost interesting as a Jaina death. Yeah, could have been, the campaign could have been a lot different. It's interesting. Favorite Warcraft 3 cinematic? I definitely think that the cinematics could have been a little better than they are. Like, I hope that they remaster them, because they remastered the opening cinematic and it's amazing. And like, there's just some weird things about, like, for example, when King Tyrannus is like meeting Medivh, like, why is everybody up in like these huge alcoves or something? I don't know, that's a weird one. And then Archimon destroying Dalaran with a sand castle is kind of weird. I guess maybe just the first cinematic, like when Thrall is having his nightmare or whatever. I don't know, that's a good question. I'd have to watch them again, I guess. But that's off the top of my head, I guess that's probably what I would say is just the first one with like the wars of orcs and humans charging each other and Medivh in his like raven form and stuff. It's a good question. You got me thinking on that for sure. Am I disappointed by the reforged ogre magi? I can't really remember what they look like, but from what I remember, they're still blue skinned, obviously, and then they've got like one of them has a hood, maybe. I don't think I'm disappointed, not really, because I know on Warcraft 2 they kind of looked a little more different as ogre magi or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah, Arthas killing his father is the best. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a really good one. Is there any Warcraft 1 or 2 Easter eggs? I'm gonna look. I just bought Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 1 a couple weeks ago off of GOG.com. It's a good deal there if you guys want to look at it, and it runs perfectly on Windows 10. Anyway, I'm playing through it and just kind of... The problem is that, like, there's not really anything to hide, you know? Like, you can't really... I mean, there's no items you can have. Like, it's pretty hard to hide something when you have, like, a flying machine and stuff, and you can just kind of fly over the map, and You know, there's not, everything's so simple in Warcraft 2 and 1 that there's not really anything to hide, and there's no items, so that's the problem, really, is that there's no real Easter eggs. There are behind-the-scenes stuff, though, like trivia, like in terms of cutting room floor, like different icons for Bloodlust or something like that, and so I might look at those, especially this, because I've really been enjoying playing Warcraft 2 sometime. Oh, they're not remastering him, huh? Darn, that's a shame. I guess that makes sense that they would only remaster the opening to kind of introduce it, so oh well. Yeah, I did not watch BlizzCon, so I might be behind. Oh yeah, the disco song, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point with the Ogre Magi. I never understood why the one-headed... Maybe there are no such thing as one-headed Ogre Magi. I know there's some lore with the Ogre Magi having two heads, like Gul'dan only trained the two-headed Ogre Magi at the Altars of Storms or something like that, but anyway. Yeah, I made some new emoji. Glad you noticed them, Mr. Green. There's room for one more, and if anyone wants to guess that song, they can choose whatever they want it to be. If it's Warcraft related or StarCraft related. Alright, one more. Thoughts about Warcraft 1? I like it. It's fun, and I mean, it's super old, but they did their very, very best on that, you know? I mean, it's... I read the most interesting article about Warcraft 1. They talked about how nothing had been made like it before, because I don't think that they had made like real-time strategy multiplayer before. I think it was the first one, and so I remember reading about how the developers made it or whatever, and then they tested it, and they were playing Warcraft 1 in like separate rooms of whatever Blizzard office they were at the time, and they started playing, and then afterwards they went in, they were like, that was so cool, it worked perfectly, I wasted you. And the other guy's like, no, I wasted you. And they realized that their internet had gotten off sync, and so they each played their own game basically, because the other player's actions got so far behind that like it basically made two instances of the game, and so they each played what they thought was against the other player, but it was actually against like a delayed version or something. So I thought that was hilarious. And anyway, Warcraft 1 is just super like groundbreaking for its time. It's hard to play now, mostly because of the right click. When you right click, it moves the camera instead of ordering them to move somewhere. So that's a pain, and it's just old, but I like it. It's fun for its time. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. Oh, thanks so much for the donation, Mandalorian. That's real generous. Thanks so much. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch one more video, and then I'll answer a few more questions. Also, I just realized for the first time that these numerals are made out of like pure ice. Like you can see behind them right there. I never noticed that before. Kind of cool. Okay, this is the right one. Right
I
where
was
we
quite
left
the
off.
tenderfoot for Easter egg hunting when I started the Reign of Chaos videos, but by the Frozen Throne I must have gotten pretty good at it. The only
Hey,
other
thanks,
secret I seem to
Yoni
have missed in the entire
Saudi.
campaign
However you
was
say
the
that.
Wrath
Sorry, I
of the
probably butchered
Betrayer.
your name.
There are
Thanks a
two
lot.
unused
Means a
items
lot
in the
to
file, a trove of gold and a trunk
to
of
get everybody
gold worth
excited about
500
Warcraft
gold,
again. So
300
thanks for
gold
stopping by.
Besides that, there is a tiny function you can exploit on the final level. If you go to this point, Furion and Illidan...
Oh, I did talk about this.
This may
Okay.
not seem like much on this level, but since the scenario saves Illidan in the game,
I guess some
cache
people
to be
still
loaded to
comment and
5th
tell me
level
about
versus
stuff
Blood Elves,
that
you
they
can
thought I
handle some
missed
pretty
before they
useful
watched
items
this.
for
So,
killing this
which, you know, there's no way to get past that. But yeah, okay. I'm glad I talked
In
about that.
Misconceptions, I found out that you don't have to sail all the way up to the Murlocs and Albatross tree. You can simply knock down these trees with a flame strike.
Ah, forgot about
There are a
that.
few disabled triggers I overlooked on this level too. One of them is a leaderboard trigger. Originally, the golden lumber you needed to repair all the observatories was displayed like this. Two other triggers display very helpful hints. The undead are not nice, and don't do drugs.
My name is Roy. I'm a magic addict.
Also, this Gnoll, Snarlmane the Bloodgorger, has the same name as the Gnoll chieftain that Sylvanas possesses later, but they're clearly not the same creature. Maybe the name Snarlmane is just as common as the name John is to us or something. Lastly, I found out that if your last peasant dies, another one spawns for you. Learn something new every day. On just about every map, there are debug triggers that the devs set up to be able to check cutscenes and checkpoints easily. This map had a few particularly funny ones. These two seem to have been used to check how the undead use blight on their respective bases or something. This one says your keyboard sucks ores in a comment and displays the text blizzy into hizzy when it turns the blight on. The other one turns the blight off and reads no blight for you.
That's funny that it says your keyboard sucks, because I wonder if that was a developer who was on somebody else's computer checking it for them, and then they just, had a crappy keyboard and put that comment in there. I just love stuff like that. I love just imagining, like, I don't know, I just wish I was a fly on the wall back then, noticing all that stuff. Just all the little details that went into making this game.
And is found in treasures from Grim Batal, a quest reward from the quest Soften Them Up. In the Dungeons of Dalaran, I realized a rather egregious oversight with the essence of a June item. Legends speak of an intelligent orc who found the heart of Ajun. Thrall found this a few months ago in the storyline. There's no way legends can speak of it, nor is it possible that Ajun's heart in the stone-taloned caverns across the world could make it here after Dalaran was already destroyed. Apparently the
That's true, and also, I mean, the Lion Horn of Stormwind was all the way over there too, so, it doesn't make much sense.
Kind of funny that a dev would use a trigger comment to vent in. I'm not sure what CVS stands for in this case. The pharmacy chain, maybe? Concurrent version system software?
That's what I'm guessing.
Syndrome? We'll probably never know, and I doubt the developer of this map even remembers doing this all those years ago. The interlude, The Dusts of Outland, has got some weird stuff in it, and I'm not sure why. For one thing, Arthas and Jaina each have a line of dialogue, but their sounds used in level 4 of the Human campaign in Reign of Chaos, not level 4 of the Frozen Throne. Was it accidental? There's also a Mountain King in the unit editor whose name has been changed to Kargan Iron-Knee. Why would something like
Kargan Iron-Knee, that's what his name was. Somebody mentioned it earlier, so.
Interlude level. The next few levels, starting with the search for Illidan, are organized a bit strangely if you look at their internal components. For example, there's this ULD from
Gosh, my footage was like skipping. I must have had a bad computer back then.
Kama introducing himself are in the same folder, even though you don't meet a Kama until a couple of levels later, so I wonder if originally you met the Draenei before you found Illidan.
Yeah, those levels are weird. Oh, the Draenei buildings are weird. They straight up look like the Draenei buildings from World of Warcraft, except a little less, like,
and this one is Illidan Wagon.
Ornate, but they've got like the crystals and everything. It's really interesting.
Uses on shards of the Alliance. My best guess is that originally Maiev had Illidan imprisoned in a cellar.
This reenactment's hilarious.
Capture him using this wagon and bring him back to a Draenei village. It doesn't look like he could fit in this wagon very well, but maybe it was enchanted. Clearly, though, there was some kind of
I forgot about that model. They remastered that as well, which is weird. I seriously think they just said remaster every single model. Here you go, because it's weird. They remastered some, like, even like the old Gargoyle Spire model. It's weird. Like, why would you do that? Why would you pay your employees to remaster an unused asset? It's so weird to me.
I guess his transformation could have
been that your heroes were orange. I kind of get that. I think they did that because the Blood Elf army was red, so they had to do the next best thing, which was orange. So, in that case, I kind of get it.
Theoden stores his sky barges at the bastion ahead.
Sky barges,
huh? To assault the citadels of Batirs with impunity. We must claim them immediately. The sky barges are ours.
Yeah, no sky barges in this version. Forgot about
Apparently,
that.
Along with the demonic siege weapons, which I'm sad aren't those infernal juggernaut things. Instead, they're just crude Draenei catapults.
Demonic siege weapons. They're just catapults.
Sky barges made it too easy to fly.
Maybe Illidan never saw the orcs attack Kalimdor, so they didn't know what they were.
Strike them down. Show these tired wretches what true fear is. Is that all you've got, demons? Is that all the power you can muster?
We've broken through their first line of defenders. Strike hard, you warriors.
Victory is near.
Victory
Now
to
bless the vengeance of the Mother. Fight on, knock them down. Slay them.
Whoa, guys, chill. That got excessive really quick.
There's so many of those. It was hilarious.
In the game, but I don't know. They don't have whole lot. Also, if you're a lore guru, you may notice that these two orc blade masters are Rend and Maim, the sons of Blackhan and the chieftains of the Blacktooth Grain clan in Warcraft 2. If you know what happens in World of Warcraft in terms of these brothers, you'll note that there's no way they could be here in Outland. And of course they don't die at this point either. Either they're just fell orcs with amazingly coincidental names, see Snarl Man the Bloodgorger earlier, or
Snarl Man? I think I said Snarl Man.
Lastly, Kargan Irondeed.
Yeah, that... I think somebody was just trying to sort of hail back to Warcraft 2, but they didn't realize that they were gonna... I love how she, like, spikes him like a volleyball. Anyway, I guess they didn't realize that they'd be digging up every single bit of lore from... oh, yeah, she has a new model on Reforged, which is pretty cool.
In the opening cinematic, if you do the map reveal cheat. There's a similar situation with Frostmourne and trudging through the ashes, though it gets hidden after the cutscene's over. Not sure why it wasn't the case in this scenario. Kargan Irondeed makes an appearance in the Return to Northrend along with the Book of Beards. He's also hiding in Boiling Point and in the Power of Lordaeron, where there's a strange...
That's so weird. I still don't really know the...
It's basically like a Dalaran reject, but
oh yeah, I think Jacob's rejects have their own models too. Yeah, I still need to look at those crate models.
Jacobs, an artist who still works for Blizzard. David told me that sometimes the artists made art passes on the levels and added or changed things, so this could have been a tongue-in-cheek example of
That's fascinating to me. Art passes on levels.
But in Into the Shadow Web Caverns, there are two unused...
My brother and I really like Warcraft 3, and we're both coders and stuff, and so when Reforged comes out, I'd really like to make a really good like map with him, and it'd be kind of fun to make it all, you know, official or just, you know, thorough in terms of making art passes and, you know, sharing. I don't know how we would share the map and stuff. It's not like you could save changes to GitHub, but anyway.
Speaking of passing bosses, I noticed that the Forgotten One unit file was modified from its original version and the level it's in. In other words, there's an official set version of a Forgotten One in the game's files, and in the one campaign map it appears in, the developers ended up modifying it. That's very interesting to me. It indicates that they may have tried it one way and then tinkered with it
Looks
after
like his
playtesting.
mouth is full of webs. That's interesting.
Says, can cast spawn tentacle,
I hate that icon. It looks so dumb. It's like a
breath of fire, flame strikes,
polygonal eyeball
and it kept spawn tentacles.
for an icon? I don't know. I guess you never saw it in the game, but
Arthas walks
still,
into
it's
this room
weird.
and it caves in. These doodads didn't change to a broken state. This is a camera trick. There are actually two rooms.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was genius.
The game makes it look like the room got trashed from the cave-in. I completely missed
Really
this
cool.
secret after the elevator room. After you meet up with an Uberak, under these rocks is a lever. If you pull it, an elevator will rise up and
Demonic
grant you
siege
access to a
weapons?
ring of protection
Demonic
+5
siege
up in the corner.
weapons?
I guess these caverns had some more intriguing secrets than I gave them credit for. A Symphony of Frost and Flame is, I realize now, a clear reference to A Song of Ice and Fire. In this level, I realized...
Yeah, there's a lot of references in those names of levels. Maybe I'll look at those some point. Maybe.
Excuse me. A Helm of Valor.
That looks a lot different now.
Are you still upset that I stole Jaina from you, Kale?
Later lore was written to explain this. Apparently, Kale had a thing for Jaina, but she was absorbed in her studies.
That's weird. He was probably like hundreds of years older than her.
You'd like to read into this soap
I mean,
opera
she was
more,
like a
the story
child
goes
to
into
him.
more
That's
detail
weird
in
to
the
me.
novel Arthas: Rise of the Lich King. Since making the Rexar video, I've since learned that this project was completely unplanned in the beginning. Blizzard was originally not going to make any orc campaign at all in the Frozen Throne, but thanks to Tim Campbell's...
See, I get that Misha needs a little more player color, but I just hate the like spray painted huge mane on it, on its back. Like, I just wish it would have had a few more like runes or something on it. But if you've seen the player coloring on that, it's excessive.
You may have noticed I actually showed this on the video without talking about it. That's because I found it while I was looking for another Easter egg after my lines had already been recorded while I was recording footage for the video. Whoops. The second is a ULD in Thunder Ridge.
Oh boy.
These tracks indicate that the lizards
I was so
came from
lazy
this
on some of these
pass.
videos, it's
I'm
funny.
curious as to where it leads.
I don't know.
But I will say, if you guys look through all my videos and stuff,
blows.
Everything was very deliberately placed. Like, I don't know if that interests you or whatever, but like everything, you know, every picture was very carefully chosen.
So it's an interesting scene.
You know, every intro was very closely made to resemble other ones, like even sound effects and stuff.
On the Warcraft Collector's Edition DVD, cinematic director Nicholas Carpenter says that there's a Zerg Hydralisk hidden somewhere in the charging army.
This is a Warcraft movie music. See, like I said, I deliberately chose this because it didn't really fit any other campaign's music, so I was like, oh, it needs some music, so I'll do the Warcraft movie.
But again, I can't see anything. I hope I'm not missing anything obvious. And
yeah,
finally,
last
of all, I found out
one.
while recording this video that if you beat the game on hard mode, the credits sequence changes slightly, causing infernal meteors to fall from the sky and splatter the units as they walk down the path. I invite you to watch this map when you can. I hope besides being just entertaining, these credits videos can help you appreciate the work that went into this amazing game.
Oh yeah, Tychondrius and Vermothras don't share icons, do they?
Guys, that is it.
Weird.
All the Easter eggs and secrets.
This was fun to make, like the different
really carefully this time around,
World of Warcraft loading screens on Warcraft 3. I was pretty proud of this one. I made it roar.
Be a part of this project and dig up all these secrets from so long ago.
That took forever, and it still didn't look good at the end when he flies past here.
But Creed for being an invaluable resource during the making of these videos, and for staying up late and working Saturdays all those years ago to work on the game we now take.
That's another thing is like the developers worked hard on this game, you know.
I'd like to extend a very special thanks to all of you as well. I've said it before, but every like and comment is very much appreciated. I could not have found all the secrets without you guys. Well,
it's true. You guys helped make this series as like as good as it was, because there was a lot of stuff I never found out. So
start to finish. See you later.
Kind of funnily enough, I never actually did that. So kind of funny. It's been a while. Oh yeah, in case you guys are interested, I have a webcomic. I have a novel that I wrote. I've stopped like talking about these projects because these were kind of big a year ago. Yeah, I have a blog or whatever, and I thought that I was done making Warcraft videos for a while. How funny. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I got a few more minutes. What do you guys want to know? Any last minute QA? I mean, questions for me, Q's for me to A. There we go. Yeah, I'm glad that like one of the reasons why I put so much effort into these is to make them kind of rewatchable. You know, like that's what Peanut Butter Gamer does in his videos. Is he just makes them fun to watch like over and over again and stuff. So I'm glad that you guys like that. Yes, I wrote a novel. It's called Alfred Shortstaff and the Cavern of Time. It's just a little self-published book on Amazon. It's actually got, like, you can download the PDF for free off my blog if you want. It's nothing great. I thought it was great at the time when I made these videos in 2017. I was just mostly excited to have it done because I'd worked on it for so long, and so I was trying to spread the word using this. But I mean, it's fine. It's a decent book, but you know. Anyway, it's self-published and co-written with my cousin and stuff. Divinity Original Sin. I've never played it. Is that the one that's a lot like D&D? Because if it is, let me check real quick, because there's one game that's kind of, yeah, okay, I think I know what this is. I don't like the long-necked lizard people. I think they just look ridiculous, and it's kind of dumb that little things like that can bother me so much into never trying the game, but there you have it. Kind of is the way it is. Favorite mission? The Tomb of Sargeras. I think that is so much fun. I love dungeon crawls. I just love how intricate it is, and like the Shadow Orb side quest. Super fun. So yeah, Tomb of Sargeras is really fun, and that's a really fun campaign too. So favorite footman color. I kind of like the way the Kulturas footman looked with the dark green. Yeah, I think dark green maybe, or Yeah, we'll go with dark green. I don't know why, but that's my favorite footman color. Any major changes you hope to see in the new Warcraft 3 remaster? Man, I've been thinking about Reforged for a year, but I don't know about any specifics like that. I hope that the world editor is just like really solid, you know, like I hope that they keep it simple but make it more powerful as well. I don't know. I'm sure I had a better answer for that, but I can't really think of anything specific that I'd like to see other than the stuff that they already have. You know, I just hope that they do a good job on the campaigns. I guess that's all I really hope to. Was I forced to continue Warcraft Easter eggs after the addendum? It wasn't forced. It was encouragement, I guess. And I mentioned earlier I have a webcomic. My webcomic was my favorite project at the time. I loved working on my webcomic. It was like my favorite thing I'd ever created. It's still one of my most precious creations, but it had no support. Like nobody found it. There was like 2 people on it who commented and everything. A couple people like drew some fan art and stuff, and that was cool, but that was it. Like nobody really encouraged me. Not even my family read it, except like my mom and stuff. But anyway, and so I just kind of lost interest in it. But this channel just kept growing, and it still is continuing to grow. And everybody's just like, why don't you look at the models of the game? And I was like, hey, that's a great idea. So I'd look at the models of the game, and they're like, what about the icons? And I myself thought of the quotes and references, and I'm glad I did, because those have been really successful. So I'm glad I worked on those. And then after I worked on those, I mean, people are still it's getting to the point now where I used to be able to like read all the comments on my videos, but I think just like a couple months ago it got to the point where I was like, there are too many now, which is kind of exciting. Anyway, and then that kind of brought me into looking at StarCraft and Warcraft 2, and yeah, like you guys just keep wanting more, so I'm gonna keep giving it to you as long as I have ideas. So I'll just keep as long as I have ideas, I'll keep working on this, because this is like my one claim to fame, basically, is, you know, so many people love this channel for the Warcraft content, and I feel lucky that I happen to have this channel booming when Reforged comes out. So who knows, maybe that'll bring more people to the channel as subscribers. But anyway, it wasn't really my choice, and I wasn't really forced into it. I was just encouraged enough that I was like, people like this stuff, I'll keep making more. So have I tried out Reforged yet? Yes, I've played around with the map editor. I've played with like just one-on-ones against people. For the most part, I like it. I think that they kind of need to up the contrast of the units a little bit, because they're a little too realistic in terms of coloring, which might be a problem in Warcraft 3, because originally, you know, like you can easily tell which unit is which because of the contrast in terms of color and like silhouette, and that's one thing I'm a little worried about with Reforged. So favorite Warcraft 3 theme from the soundtrack? I like human songs mostly, like the monastic, you know, monk chants and stuff that they have. I really like those. Yeah, I think that human by far is my favorite, especially on Frozen Throne. Do I like to play as Fel Orcs? I mean, I do on that one level, because they have chaos damage, which is good against like buildings, which is my favorite thing. You know, how you can just have a grunt attack a building or whatever, and it does full damage. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really played it in like any custom videos or something. A clan or kingdom for every new color that was added during 24-player lobby increase. That would be fun. I mean, I can't, but it would be cool if somebody did. I mean, I don't think there are that many kingdoms in the actual game. I guess I could make up clan names, but, you know. More Easter eggs pop up in Reforged. I do hope that. Yeah. I mean, I love Easter eggs. I love anything behind the scenes. I just love seeing these secrets that the developers put in, so I hope that they're putting them in now. Well, that's probably done now. They're probably just polishing at this point, I hope. But yeah, I'm going to look for those with a lot of anticipation. Is there any part of Warcraft 2's game story that I wish got more attention in Warcraft 3? That's a good question. I need to play through all the campaigns on Warcraft 2 first before I'll have a clear answer on that, but the answer is probably yes. Everything in Warcraft 3... I grew up with Warcraft 2. I've probably talked about this before, but I got it when I played it since I was like 6 years old at my uncle's house. I got it for my 8th birthday and just played the crap out of it. I loved it so much. And then when Warcraft 3 came out, some of my favorite things were noticing things about it that were in Warcraft 2 or 1, like Medivh. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Medivh from Warcraft 1. Or like, it's Grom Hellscream, even though his voice is different. Anyway, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I love when Warcraft references older games, because that's when the lore was much less founded, and so the more they expound on it, as long as they expand it in a good way, I think it's pretty good. All right. Me in the comments. I comment on everything on YouTube. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to share my opinion about everything. So you'll see me in the comments on a lot of old videos of, Age of Empires 2, Warcraft 2. I never played Unreal Tournament, but I like the soundtrack, so I'm probably on that video too. Oh yeah, there you said soundtracks. Yeah, I just love listening to video game music, especially when I'm coding at work, so... Candy War, Candy War was crashing. That was a shame, because that was so much fun. Our Halloween Candy War special. I'd like to do that again, and that's one of my favorite things about this channel, is having a community of you, like you guys. Like, if I make a map on for Reforged or whatever, like a multiplayer map, I'll have you guys to help me play test it. So that's one of my favorite things as well. Furian's ranged attack looks like a green bird. Yeah, the priests actually have blue birds. They're like light blue birds. And then there's a couple other ones. I think satyrs shoot like purple birds. It's all like different versions of the same attack. And there's a yellow one too. I can't remember which one. But yeah, Druids of the Talon also. So it's kind of interesting. Oh, they're the ones with the purple one. Yeah, you're right. Am I a happy person? Yes, I'm very happy. Last year was rough because I had to go back to school for a year and I had like no free time, but this year's great. Now that I have a job, I have time to actually work on these again. Yeah, and I mean, I got a wife and kids. I got it made. I hope I can climb up a little bit in this job, in this career path that I've chosen of coding, so I can like have a house instead of a rented apartment, but how could I complain? Everything's great. I'm really happy. What class am I in? WoW, mage. My troll mage was my favorite character I ever made. I started with a paladin, but I like being paladins in other games, but in WoW it's just not fun for me, so mage definitely is my favorite. Sorceress has a yellow one, thank you. Which is weird, because sorceresses and priests are like side by side, so it's kind of weird that they didn't have any variation between them. We need more members so we can spam emojis in chat. I know. Yeah, if any of you want to be members, I mean, it's only $5 a month. $1 a month if you want, but, the more that the more members I have, the more motivated I am to keep making videos. So, honest and truly. Alright, I think that's enough for today. Sorry I couldn't get to the models and icons videos. I may get to them in a future stream, maybe. I don't know. It probably won't be a Saturday one like it was today. It'll probably be one at night, which, sorry, I'm sorry I can't have a stream this time every time so that, all you guys can join. I'm glad that some of you guys could join that couldn't normally. But yeah, nights or which are 2 in the morning for some of you are the best time for me, so... Anyway, glad I could have this one. This was fun to have all these question and answer and stuff. Oh, somebody from Brazil. I love Brazil. Spent a couple years there. I'm fluent in Portuguese. I cook Brazilian food all the time. I love Brazil. Tequila Mockingbird video. Thanks for asking that, because there's an interesting story behind it. That was kind of a social experiment. I had a boss at my old job who really liked YouTube Haiku, I think is what it's called, on Reddit. I never go on Reddit, but he loved Reddit, and there's like a YouTube haiku thing where it's just these little dinky, stupid meme videos. And so my mom sent me that video of a bird that sounded like it was whistling that song Tequila, like da, 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 da. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get this on YouTube haiku. So I just did their requirements of like I can't remember how many seconds a YouTube haiku video has to be. It's like under 10 seconds or something. So I did that, and I did that little joke at the end, like tequila, and then I put it on Reddit just to see if it would get a ton of views, and it did. It got so many views, and it was just hilarious. And so, yeah, it was just a stupid little social experiment in seeing how viral I could make a video, and it worked. However, I think that my Easter eggs video surpassed it in views, which is, I mean, it makes sense because, you know, like, memes only last so long, but that Tequila Mockingbird video definitely got the most views in the shortest amount of time. Yeah, 560,000 views, and it was like most of those happened all at once. So anyway, good question. Yeah, that was such a funny video. All right, let's go with 3 more questions, and then we'll close. My favorite hero in Warcraft 3, probably the Lich, or I don't know. In terms of lore, I'd have to think about it, but in terms of just how fun they are to play, probably Lich. I just really like Frost Nova and Death and Decay and stuff. Keeper of the Grove's pretty fun too. But yeah, I'd say that I'd have to think about lore though. And then, okay, so that's 1. What do you think of Warcraft 3 Reforged? Getting a model of the Arthas as Lich King. Yeah, I wonder how that works. Like, I was noticing on StarCraft 2 that they have like a skin system where you can have your units be different skins. I'm guessing that's just for multiplayer or whatever. But yeah, with the Spoils of War edition, they gave me and everybody else who ordered that like new models, like a what is it? Well, what's that song about Jaina? Daughter of the Sea or whatever. Yeah, Daughter of the Sea Jaina, and then like Lich King Arthas, and then like a Dark Keeper of the Grove or something. Oh, it was Nightmare Cenarius, Keeper of the Grove, and then Thrall. And I'm guessing those are just skins for those specific heroes, I guess. So anyway, last one. The Butcher, a unique model. That'd be cool on that campaign. I mentioned that earlier, but anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. That was super fun. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing my videos and spreading the word. Probably not going to do another subscriber special till 50K. Probably shouldn't have done this one till 25K, but who cares? This was a lot of fun. And I will end by telling you the name of the song. It is from Jazz Jackrabbit, which is a really old game that I used to play when I was a kid, and so I thought it fitting with the Christmas season and stuff. But anyway, I thought that was pretty fun. Okay, thank you guys for your questions. Super fun to look back on these videos, and you guys are awesome. Look forward to a new video tonight, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep making them as long as you guys keep giving me ideas for them. So yeah, hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holiday, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing my videos.